This is recorded from the stream on, what is it? Monday, May 9th. I do this the second Monday of every month. We do a little walkthrough in depth. Oh, this is not the right page. This is not what we want up. There we go. We do a walkthrough in depth of the monthly report from the last month. So we go over all the development that's been going on in Star Citizen and see what kind of happy go fun stuff they've been getting up to, and have a lot of conversation with chat in the meantime. So if you're watching this after the fact, sorry, you're gonna have to listen to us talk to each other. But this should be some good discussion, some good discovery. Nguyen, thank you so much for becoming a member on YouTube. I was just talking about, that's actually, excuse me, why I had the YouTube channel on the screen. Anybody who is a main channel YouTube channel member on Space Tomato, I release exclusive video every month for you guys. Goes into more depth about development, so check it out. But anyways, April 2022, that's the wrong window. You're supposed to maximize over here. April 2022, my friends. It's been full of progress on upcoming features and the latest from Star Citizen's next system, Pyro. Which is all we hear about nowadays. What's up, Gabe? Okay, so we're gonna dive straight in. And while I'm doing all of this, I'll be reading some stuff. If I come across something that I remember, I have like a bunch of archives of pictures and footage and stuff. If I come across something I remember, or I think it could add some context, if I show you guys visually, I'll pull that up and throw it on the screen. Grumpy old man, good to see you in here. All right, so AI content. They spent part of April working on the eat and drink and leisure AI activities. They now have complete gameplay loop. A gameplay loop of eating and drinking. Always good. The AI will locate a sustenance dispenser, obtain food and drink, and then find somewhere to consume it. Once finished, they'll dispose of the container in a recycling bin before using a leisure usable to pass the time, such as reading, writing, or watching content on their mobiGlass. The next step is to add the AI tech team's new dynamic conversation tech so that characters can systemically converse with others while utilizing usables. So that's actually something we read about in one of the other monthly reports just a couple of months ago. They discussed how these conversations would be developed based on the character, based on their location. So like if you had a worker in Lorville, I think they actually use this as an example here. Where is it? No? I could have sworn they had an example here. Well, if you're... Oh, here we go. So, like, I think this is the same thing they're talking about. An example is a Lorville worker would be talking about the factory, right? Something relevant to the city. Whereas maybe a corporate office person in New Babbage might be talking about, I don't know, the new ice armor that came out. I don't know. What do CEOs in New Babbage talk about? Widow? Hey, Jaden Gaming, thank you so much for the super chat. $5 support. Much appreciation. Hope you're enjoying it. I gotta get a little sip of tea in and then... All right, now I'm enjoying it. Now I'm all here. So this sounds super in depth, right? It sounds like they're going super far with this and like just getting out of hand. But this, I want to say this is the kind of thing that I would see in other really big games, you know? Maybe not to this extent, but pretty close. The idea that these NPCs are going to stop and talk to each other. We see that in RPGs, you know, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Elden Ring, stuff like that. Definitely goes to some extent in this kind of stuff. But CIG, being as CIG does, is trying to do it in an MMO, which I'm sure makes things a little more difficult. Now, I know I have some video footage here because they just showed something about this. It's more fun when we search together, right? All right. I know we've got... It's got to be NPC conversations, right? Oh, this is really tall. Yo, we got raided. Why did I not get any notification for that? Mac! Super Mac, my friend! Yo, good to see you guys, Mac Attack. How you all doing? Let me guess. Star Citizen? Is it possible? You guys are playing some Star Citizen? What were you doing? Testing out 317 still? Looting and booting? Shooting tooting? How's everybody going? Good to see you. Finart, Brian, welcome in. Drahillion. Also appreciating the super chats over here. Jaden, again. You saw the Merchantman image and immediately clicked. You have good time. Did I clickbait you? We are going to talk about the Merchantman, don't worry. I would like to ask you an important question. What would you do with your brand new Merchantman? I would probably just stare and gawk for a little while. I have no freaking clue what I would do with a brand new Merchantman, to be honest. Greets from the Super Mac. Did Mac Brother have to run? Good to see that guy. We got to get him back on the podcast soon. Oh, now the notification's coming in. Now it's telling us we're getting rated. Thank you. Thank you, Stream Elements. You're on top of things. You love the podcast. I love the podcast too. That's one of my favorite things to do. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So this is our frustrated NPC. So hold on, let me jog your guys' memory because that took a while for me to find. So we were just talking about here. AI now can get their stuff, their goods from an AI, from a drink dispenser, obtain the food, consume it somewhere, throw it away. Now, that's what they've been showing off here. And this is... Do I think there will be a referral bonus for Invictus Week? Maybe. Maybe. They might do one for an exclusive video or something. Or an exclusive vehicle. It's tomato time. How y'all doing? Alright, so... This is kind of something that's changed in Star Citizen development. I would say in the last... I think the last 12 months, to be quite honest. I would almost go so far as to say like the last 8 months, maybe, since around CitizenCon. Almost, it feels like they got into this rhythm of shadowing the monthly report with ISC episodes. And they've always kind of overlapped because obviously they're working on the same stuff, but it feels really targeted lately. So this is something that I think should remind people that we're not in 2018, we're not in 2019, we're not in 2017 for sure. We're not at a time where they're talking about doing something and then putting it on ISC and then not doing it. They've been definitely doubling down on only showing the stuff they're actually working on, and then when they do show us stuff, getting to working on that. And we'll see that later on in this video. But the concept images that we got at the beginning of the year in January are not the kinds of things you would normally see getting worked on in-game 2 months later in March. At least not with old CIG. But now, they all about that life. By the way, socks. All right, so let's see. I just kept you guys in anticipation this whole time. So here's an NPC getting something out of a vending machine, and or I think getting mad at a vending machine. Very intense, very complex. Such anger. Think they finally realized we don't want smoke and dreams. We actually just want to know what is legit being worked on. I think it's because they finally got the engine to a point where they can create the stuff they're talking about. I think they literally could not do what they wanted to do before, at least not in a big enough scale. And now they finally can, so they can start to relax a bit with how they're showing it to us. Because like Derelict ships have been around for a long time, right? But they never really could dive in enough to customize them, to make them that much different, to spread them all out, because they didn't have the tools to create it. They were building planetary tech, so everything was constantly shifting around. They didn't want to put in the time for that, you know? But it feels like that, along with things like building blocks, along with things like this new NPC tester that they've got working. We've got Mighty Bridge is starting to work. Planetary tech has been finalized. A lot of that stuff just came together in the last year or so. I think that's really starting to make a difference, even though we used to always kind of mock it, because it's not like there's going to be some finishing of tools and then development's going to explode, but it's definitely making a difference. That's what I like to see. That's been really, really cool to see these last couple months. So that was AI content. What else did they work on? They also began working on a new commuter activity. Ooh, everybody loves being a commuter. This controls all aspects of a character's behavior when using public transport, including choosing a destination, waiting for transport to arrive, entering it, passing time while in transit, and exiting. You know, I hope this isn't just for trains, although I feel like it is. It'd be great if this was also for ships, small passenger ships. What is with that color grading? Is that just this camera's automatic white focus? Or not white focus, white point? What is it called? I actually want to make this a little less orange. I look very orange. No? You don't do that anymore? Alright, cool. ISC needs to showcase bed sheet deformations and title it between the sheets. Soft bodies. Hope you had a good weekend. I had a good weekend. Got to spend time with my family yesterday for Mother's Day. Took Sunday off. I'm supposed to take more Sundays off, to be honest. To get in trouble for that. Now with more workers in Frankfurt and Manchester, they have time for stuff like that, I'd say. Definitely the company's getting bigger, that's for sure. April Fools. A little bit late on that one, huh? Okay. Let's move on to AI tech. The way that I usually the way it seems things go with AI is that the things that show up here in AI tech usually end up showing up here a little bit later or in a more complete state or a more applied state. Now, I'm not a game developer, but I'm assuming at least from the names tech and content, it also sounds like this is how it should be. These guys kind of build the features, test them out, or rather not the features, but the technology used for the features, and then content figures out how to implement them into features. But, you know, who am I? I'm not a doctor. Hello there, Celts. How's it going? Okay, so for AI tech, throughout April, AI tech finalized their work on Alpha 3.17. Wow. Which involved investigating and fixing several AI-related bugs and making various optimizations. I think one of the things I want to do when I start to update my stream, now I have to write this down. I keep coming up with new stream ideas for stuff I want to do and then never actually doing them. So let me put this one down. I want to have a wow button. Wow. So basically, anytime I feel the need to say wow because I'm just absolutely amazed by something on screen, I could just hit a button and Owen Wilson will slide onto the screen right in front of my face and go, wow. Ugh. Stupid pillow. Okay. They've also adjusted the AI behaviors and code to allow ships to correctly quantum travel out of planetary atmospheres. Yay! Previously, ships would think they were inside an obstacle and not correctly account for which direction would be best to radially leave the planet. We've all had those days. Just a couple too many beers. You're like, do I quantum? Is that the city? Am I do a quantum travel through the city then? Don't worry, NPCs, you're not alone. Wow. Just gonna... Everybody in chat's just constantly wow now, huh? Maybe I should change the socks from my toes to just... Wow. Where was I? For you hooligans distracted me. Okay, for the navigation system, the team added the ability to notify listeners when navigation meshes are spawned or created within the environment. Ooh. We've got video for this. If I could just pull it up. There we go. Oh, nope. Not you. You go just showing everyone my file structure. All right. Where were we? Right, so the spawning of navigation meshes. Due to a large number of entities, they're aiming to reduce the number of allocations for notification events and possibly introduce a better way to filter which entities events are relevant to. So, notifying listeners when navigation meshes are spawned. I was under the impression that navigation meshes, and this might help if there are any developers in the chat. I was under the impression that navigation meshes were spawned per area, right? And then those meshes would change based on what was in the area. This kind of makes it sound like they are spawned by an entity. At least in the first sentence. And then in the second sentence, it talks about reducing the number of allocations for notifications, assuming that means they want to create an easier way for the navigation mesh to track what's inside of it. So I'm trying to find this example here. Basically what happens is they create a mesh and it takes into account all the places where an NPC can go or walk. And you can kind of see that happening like here. They sort of dodge trees, they dodge, actually I think that might just be the ground going through them. But you can imagine that when it comes to certain places, obviously they don't spawn. So what it sounds like they're saying here, going by that, is that these spots that don't spawn, they're trying to reduce the amount of times the navigation mesh would have to hear that, you know? Like, that's what I'm getting. The notification events sound like, hey, I'm here, don't put a mesh here. And they're trying to reduce the amount of times that happens. How much time will I allow the development of the game before calling it quits? That's the thing. I don't need this game to be finished. It's at a point. It's not at a point yet, but I can see in the horizon, right? I could say probably in the next couple of years, I'm gonna have no problem playing this game even if it's not finished. It continues to be built, but I'm still having a lot of fun. So I'm not any. I used to be at a point where I would say that. I would say up until maybe last year. Was it last year? Might actually be this year, to be honest. I think I only recently started feeling that way. That I now know that the game is going to be something I enjoy. I don't have any question of that anymore. Question is just what else is coming. And I think that's kind of what's always driven me. So that's not a problem for me. But I do know that some people have a certain point, you know, at which, hey, if you're not going live with this, if you're not letting us take the training wheels off, then I'm out of here. But that's not me. Isco is here. Thank you so much for the sub. How you doing? Good to see you. My 3-month sub. Big fan of your work. You edit and present your videos in such a well-designed way. If you don't mind, which software do you edit with? And how much time do you spend on each video? It depends. It depends. I edit with DaVinci Resolve and Premiere Pro. I jump back and forth. How much time it takes it differs for video to video. So I actually have an editor now. Jumped between a few different editors this year as we found like the right fit. Usually for a weekly video, the ones I put out every week, like a monthly report that's coming out this week, it would be probably around an hour and a half to 2 hours of writing. Depending on the topic. So like this video I put out yesterday, which was like looking at the differences between each of the cities. It's like 5 to 7 hours of research. And then my editor put in about 6 hours of editing. So, and then publishing is about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I would say, what is that? 2 plus 8, carry the 6, divide by 4. I don't know. I lost track. What is that? 8 plus, I think it was 4 hours of writing. Usually around like 12 to 15 hours per video. The other ones, the supporter exclusive videos, take a lot more research because those are kind of like, I go and I look back at how they were building the game a few years ago. I get video footage from all these specific sources. Those ones are usually like 20 to 30 hours per video. It's not terribly profitable doing this at a small scale like this, which is part of why we're going to Turkey. Because Because I would say in terms of ad revenue, I don't make more than $100 on any video. So it's a weird balance. It's a weird way to do it. One of those guys that enjoys 30 FPS. I love it. I crave it. Make sure to sleep. Oh yeah, I get my sleep. I for sure get my sleep. Okay. So this was navigation meshes, but there's so much more interesting stuff than that. Let's move on. A little bit of Blue's Clues in there. You followed the work from Brazil? Nice. Want to make some stuff like that in Brazil? Very sad about the game here is not so famous or talked about. It's going to take a while. I give it time. I couldn't help you with joysticks. I'm sorry. I don't use any. I'm a mouse and keyboard person for now. Okay, so the next was the tasks that will allow NPCs to interact correctly with movable entities like trolleys, which was mentioned in last month's report. Ha! Ding! The recent aim was to integrate the operator and the trolleys themselves into the collision avoidance system. This will allow NPCs to push trolleys, avoid other characters while pushing, and avoid trolleys left without or throughout a level. This is obviously very important for maybe not the cargo refactor, but what the cargo refactor is going to bring. Eventually, you'll be able to have NPCs loading and unloading your spaceship. In fact, we have a great freaking trailer for that. In fact, how about I play you guys this entire trailer? Because it's actually a really good trailer. Some of you, many of you, have probably already seen it. It was definitely a trailer that got a lot of people into the game. If I can find it. The Hornet. I know I have it. I know I've got it. The Freelancer. It's the old Freelancer commercial. Come on, I know some of you must still watch that one. It's like they took the concept of these Western truck commercials and turned it into a spaceship commercial. But I might have to play it on YouTube. Could have sworn I had this downloaded. Grey Cat Rock. Plan and Scan. Yeah, I only have the old... Here's the 300i, the Aurora, the Mustang, the Reliant. But no Freelancer. All right, hold on. Let me pull it up on here. I was showing my friend some Satisfactory, trying to get him hooked. All right, so this is this. I'm gonna show you the whole trailer. But there's a good reason for it.
All it says is an amount of cargo, a delicate timetable, and a risky route.
Whoa!
You know you've got 42 cubic.
Okay, that one doesn't work. Get that out of the way. Doesn't make sense.
So whatever you put in here comes out the same way. You got two Arc Duo 400 engines. Their award-winning colloid ion technology gives you maximum fuel efficiency while keeping your sig low.
Keeping your sig low.
You come across a couple of pirates.
Look at this, 2 cutlasses, right?
But with a weapon system featuring trusted names like Bering and Kronik, you aren't too worried.
Oh boy. Yo! Yo! Imagine if a Freelancer was that badass. That's so cool. Never happened.
Brake tags look good. Cleared for landing in Area 18.
Alright, so here's the whole reason I brought this trailer up. This is like 2-second shot. but this is an awesome trailer.
You're the one they come to when they need a job done right.
You got some cargo,
Because you
you sipping on coffee, and you getting those NPCs to do the work. You see that? That is the dream right there. I just did a bunch of badass stuff. Now carry my boxes. But that's what this is. That was the whole freaking point of watching that. Was I think it definitely, this NPC trolley stuff is pretty important to that. So anyways, that's the old Freelancer commercial, if you've never seen it. But yeah, their commercials have always been really fun. They do a lot of in-lore stuff. Recruit NPCs just like No Man's Sky, huh? Yeah. But obviously a lot deeper, because No Man's Sky is doesn't have a lot of the sort of interactivity that this game is shooting for. Yeah, the old ArcCorp was there too, if anybody caught that. All right, so the next thing they worked on was making it easier to draw a link from one node to another. I'm guessing that's navigation nodes. Improve the automatic folder selection when creating new files, and modified quick insert to select a suggestion based on the string type if not specified. There's going to be quite a few comments like this where I just completely brush over them because I have no idea what they're talking about. The team then began work on a major improvement to the way the multi-graph view validates node connections. That's another one of those. That's one of those sentences. With the new feature, nodes belong to the graph that they have been created in and linked to until a new connection is established. This allows the devs to maintain orphan nodes without losing data, even in the new multi-graph mode. I'm happy for them, the orphan nodes, but NPCs will move around. Finally, for AI tech, they completed the engineering phase for dynamic conversation functionality. We talked about this earlier. Adding ways to allow the designers to mark up which conversation topics are allowed in different locations. For example, in Loreville, NPCs can talk about working at the factory, which is only relevant to that city, because Hurston sucks. The system also allows the designers to set up topics on a specific character and then automatically select a specific dynamic conversation skeleton, in turn randomizing topics related to that conversation flow. That is, if you've ever seen like a readout of a conversation tree in, I don't know, somebody give me an RPG, Mass Effect, they loved this stuff. See if they have any pictures of that. You can sometimes get a really cool diagram. I mean, you know, something like this. I actually have, hold on. We have something better. We can do better. Just gotta find the right folder here. Chicka-pow. And this one. Okay, cool. So this isn't an exact representation of what it looks like, but this would be kind of similar. This is the subsumption system. This is sort of like your if this then that for AI in the game. And you can kind of see that here. Initialize task, get vehicle, wait for event, move to sub activity. But this is kind of like a skeleton tree, I think, for a conversation. If this was going to be like different things they could say based on what was happening. But the fact that they're trying to build that out for different AI in different places is just... Oh, it's so CIG. I don't know how this is all going to turn out. Honestly. The game? Yeah. Looks like it's going to be fun. But like there are some things that are just detailed like this. And then I'm like, okay, that sounds good for one star system with 4 planets, 4 cities, 12 moons, and 15 space stations. But what happens when there's 46 planets and 180 moons and like 17 different major factions? Like, are they all gonna be... It's just nuts. I mean, I guess that's why they're trying to expand past 1,000. But wow. A thought on organization: consider sorting those images and such into folders named after each of the categories in every monthly report. My friend, are you not watching? Vehicles, UI, team, locations, flora, features, fauna, engine, effects, community, combat, audio. Bruh. Nah, it's all good, Kate. Thank you so much. I've been struggling to really try and figure out a good way to organize all this stuff. It's been going back and forth between different systems. Some conversations are quite funny. In the game? Y'all analyzing my file structure. I'll tell you what, my file structure is terrible. You want to see the worst part? Check this out. I'm not going to show you guys everything. So I have switched from like one way of organizing to another recently. So I went from that folder-based method that you were talking about to now creating one large folder with everything and then using tags, right? The problem though with using tags, especially when you're on network attached storage, is that if I wanted to look for, say, the Scorpius, it doesn't work on network attached storage. So what I have to do is now I've also downloaded new software that mirrors my NAS to a local drive and syncs them up every day so that I can then search for them. But I do think this works a little bit better than the folder method. Because you know what's going on? I have to, since I have editors now, I have to make sure that they can read this file structure. And if I'm just putting in the folders, of course I know which folders they're in. But they don't. It also makes it much easier to save them because it takes forever. Curse you, NAS. Where were we? Okay, we will move on to AI vehicle features. Let's see. Last month, AI vehicle features fixed bugs and provided release support for Alpha 3.17 and Invictus launch week. They also began work on the Flight AI debug. Just get a call? The Flight AI debug tool, and it's two test runner levels. I don't know what that means. I'm guessing that just a tool to help them better test how AI is flying. That's always good, you know. AI sucks at flying. The VSpawn AI command was also updated to include options for overriding the crew manifest and skill set. The flow graph node for spawning vehicles was updated too. Lastly, they're currently allowing enabling tests to be managed via editor windows. All, I'm sure, great stuff. Lets those AI stop ramming in dogfights. Yeah, that'll be nice. The AI in this game, it just loves to try and get as close as possible to you. And oftentimes that means, like, inside of your ship. Stop doing that, AI. Stop! Animation released their vendor work on the PU and are currently creating documents to ensure that they can extend it efficiently when needed. They also began filling out leisure areas with AI, including characters using arcade machines, pew, 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 additional idols, and actions at tables, such as using the Mobi-Glass. Beep boop, bop boop. I don't know why I acted them all out, just feeling it. Facial animations were done for outlaws, vendors, bartenders, and a new mission giver. There's supposed to be like a, I don't know, like a bell. Something's supposed to happen. Something loud's supposed to happen because that's a really big deal. That is awesome to hear. Let me show you guys how long it's been since we gotten a new mission giver. So mission givers were like this huge thing that they got super hyped about early on in Star Citizen's development. I would say 2016, 2017, they were really, really pumped about mission givers. They were like, yeah, you're gonna talk to people, and they're gonna give you missions, and they're gonna have cool faces and great animations. Oh! And then they started making them. And so we got our first one in 3.0, he's not here. We got our second one in 3.3. We got our third one in 3.3.5. We got two more in 3.4. We got another one in 3.5. And then they stopped. Just stopped. Back in 2019, it was just over. Yeah, my camera's glitching. It's Cyberpunk theme. Get at me. So yeah, Twitch was the last mission giver. She's awesome. She's really freaking cool. She still doesn't have her hair in game, but she gives missions at ArcCorp. And the idea behind them is that they are this person who has an identity, a personality. They have their likes, their dislikes, full narrative conversations with you, all the cool, the bells and whistles. But I think they just require too many resources. I think what happened was they're a great idea, and they're going to end up being that kind of main place where people go for the best missions in the game. But in order to have them working, the AI's got to be working good. The network's got to be working good. The missions have to be working good. You got to have enough features to put in those missions to make them worthwhile. And instead of doing all this, they could just throw new missions in a mobiGlas text app. So I think they cut it off in 2019 until they were ready with possibly server meshing or maybe something else. Now that we're seeing this, I feel like this is a really good sign that whatever was blocking them is something that they are they're getting by. So new mission givers in development is really, really good. That's good to hear. You're waiting for the tomato talk? Nah, none of that today. I'm sorry. Tomato talks are too short for this kind of topic. We gotta take this one low and slow, you know? Alrighty. So did we get through all of animation? No, we didn't. For weapons and gadgets, blockout animations were created for handheld gadgets and explosives, and work began on a new SMG. Previous work was also done for how a weighed down player should feel and patrons drinking at bars and tables. How about a weighed down player drinking at bars and tables? Petition to have Honey be a mission giver. Oh gosh, that'd be fun. I have something to say about the gadgets, but that's going to come up again later, so we'll talk about it then. Previous work was also done for... Oh, we already said that. I don't have anything to say about that, other than it makes sense that we can't carry a bunch of stuff. That's actually... Hey, Ruby, good to see you. Did I cut off my own podcast for you? This is actually probably a good time to talk about one of the other inventory things going on, in that they have, for inventory, they want there to be volume and mass. So they want you to be able to carry something large but small in your backpack if it doesn't take up too much SCU. I think that's the case. Or shape, rather. Shape and volume. You could have the SCU space, but your container itself might not be able to carry what it is you're trying to carry. So I think SCU must be a... No, SCU is a volume metric. I think they might need to change that up. Because they're definitely trying to put volume restrictions on backpacks. Yeah, you can put this super heavy core armor in there, or you could fold up an undersuit and put it in there, but you can't put a weapon in there because it's too long. I think that's going to go further with this weighed down player feeling, in that, yeah, you could be carrying everything that you're capable of carrying, but it's too much. I would probably look towards, gosh, what's it called? Death Stranding for inspiration on this. I'm guaranteed they've looked at Death Stranding for all kinds of, oh, how can we have people carry stuff but not carry stuff? How do we make sure that they're scared to carry stuff? Backpack Tetris, exactly. Let's see. Just use kilos and liters. Oh my gosh, but imagine though if they were using kilos, like... Well, now that I think of it, what do they use for mass on ships? Because they just use units. I don't actually know what their measurements are using. But yeah, liters would be good. Character work, we're in the art section now. Character art continued to work on frontier clothing for Pyro. They also polished a large batch of armor and clothing material variants for the Ninetales gang. Yo, this is super exciting. I love this. I put this on Twitter for those of you who are following. It's actually useful. I do a lot of like live monthly report stuff on there. So if I'm reading through and I see something cool, I'll post it to there. Sometimes we do little previews of stuff, but I'll show you this. So this is one of the new outfits from the Ninetales gang. And it's pretty lore accurate. Let me show you concept art. So here is a concept art of a Ninetales member. No, I'm kidding. That's a space whale. Where is this concept art? Here we go. Here we go. So this was released years ago, and I've always been like, why don't Ninetales have the gold purple color? Why are they all like cyan and black and then purple? And it seems that they're starting to slide more, and this is one of those things that also makes it feel like they're building the game now and not just setting the foundation. They are dipping into lore. They're going into the lore of the things that back up the cities and the gangs and all these characters and actually putting it in now. So this guy, as you can see, is the same dude as this. Obviously, there's small differences, lips, the pants are a little bit different, but the jacket, the undershirt, these things on the shin, the boots, and the general vibes, all the same. So they're definitely starting to dip into more of the background lore and concept for these inspirations and work them into the game, and I'm happy to see it because this game's got some cool lore. They just give us more. Did he overdose? Probably. You know how they be. That mask though. Right. I think they realized with the mouth hole, the old one, maybe nah. They also are working on a salvaged themed backpack. And the concept art is in progress for a collection of fashionable outfits for Stanton. I think I actually have some fashionable outfits here. Check out these fashionable outfits. Look at them. So fashionable. This looks like the kind of stuff people in, what is this, Orison, I'm guessing, would be wearing? Yeah, this looks like Orison. Wait, is this? Are they showing us thumbnails of... I don't know what those thumbnails are. But yeah, this is some of the... Oh, Microtech. Really? Huh. Yeah, I guess that makes more sense at Microtech. They're kind of more... like that. They're very pompous over there. Their yoga. And their juice bars. Alright, let's go to art and ships. The UK-based ship team finalized paints for the RSI Scorpius. Ooh, completing their work on the ship. Scorpius finished in art. Get it? That's actually, it's great to hear. The Scorpius is a really cool ship. I don't know about you guys, but it's one of my favorite designs in the game. I'm not a combat pilot, so I probably won't be using it much, but I'm definitely gonna be, I'm gonna make a video about it for sure. I don't know what it's gonna be about because, like I said, I'm not a combat pilot, but that ship is really freaking cool. I'd love to cover it. Anybody who maybe isn't constantly breathing this game, you want a little refresher on what the Scorpius looks like? Let me pull it up real quick. We got it here somewhere. I really need to move all this stuff to my local folder so I can just search it. Yo, why is it so hard to find all this stuff? Oh, it's the first picture. So there's a Scorpius. There's a shot of it from the side. God, I love it. I freaking love... I don't know why, but I really love the shape of this. Something about the front right here just looks so good. And then I like the... And then one of my actual favorite parts of it really is the way that it looks like an aurora when they fold it up. I know I've got that here somewhere. Oh, here it is landed. Right, so this is one of my favorite parts of it. This is the aurora, right? Like the original RSI ship. It's got like this skinnier front, big widening in the midsection, and then it slightly tapers off towards the back. And they did an amazing job of basically matching that. This is the Scorpius up from the top. And you can see, like, they really did a good job of going after that. I hope that was their original, like they started the ship like this and they didn't just try and find a way to shove this in. Because I think it was a little stroke of genius in the design. But I really like the ship. I can't wait to check it out. I don't care about flying it, to be honest. I just want to look at it. Just wanted to say I really appreciate your work. Thank you, Diego. Appreciate you. The wings are its best feature. Honestly, the wings might be its worst feature. Because, like, all of the guns are on the wing, right? You got 8 guns. 4 of them are on this turret. The other 4 on the ends of the wings. Imagine if your wings get shot off in this ship. Dunzo. From the in the future, women do not grow their hair out from the looks of the character creation. No, instead men grow their hair out. Scorpius looks like an F8 Lightning, a Mantis, and an Aurora, and an X-Wing all together. I still think that I think it's because of that front section that I focus on, but this ship is what reminds me of it a lot. I don't know, I get vibes. That's at least the first thing I thought of. There are 4 of them on the front as well. No, they're only... The only guns are on this turret and the wings. In the front, you get missile pods. There aren't any... They should have put the weapons on the front, but that probably would have been too OP. I'm guessing this ship's going to be very maneuverable, and with the 4 size 2s that they've got, a lot of firepower because it's got low on shields and it's pretty fragile. This might be the actual glass cannon. Not the Hurricane. Do a barrel roll. I think they're fixed size 3s. So you can get gimbaled size 2s, and then I think the guns on the turrets might be size 2s as well, but that, I'm not as sure about that. As long as there's no Slippy. Ah, Slippy. There are 2 guns on the front. So does it have 10 guns then? Is the 4 and then there's 2 guns on the front? That makes a huge difference if there's 2 on the front. I didn't know that. Where's that other pig? I don't know. I don't see it shooting from the front. Shooting from the wings and then firing the missiles from these missile pods. Where did you hear that there were guns on the front though? Then it wouldn't be an X-Wing with a far-sighted fire arc. We don't need an X-Wing! They would work better with other ships. Don't solo in a Scorpius. Yeah, I would say that's probably a good call. Yeah, there's the gun rail with the turret that sits on the front of the back. But I don't think there are any actual guns on the front of the ship. It's on the ship detail page. All right, we've got a mystery now. Star Citizen Scorpius. Cause that's a freaking, that would be killer if there were guns on the front of the ship. That might take away the most important or the worst part of the ship. So they are size 3s. 2 size. Sorry, wait. Okay, a max of 2 size 2s. Am I getting that wrong? A max of 4 size 2s? Okay, 4 total mounts. 1 per mount, so 8 guns. Yeah, the... Don't quote the ship metrics to me. I was there when it was created. I'm just going to the page, man. When it was written. I'm just looking at what they're saying. I don't know. If there are 2 guns on the front, that'd be pretty cool. Size 3 fixed. Written by a dyslexic hamster. Well, either way, if there are 2 guns on the front, that's pretty good. I didn't see it, but that would be amazing. Regardless, these guns on the wings are going to be a risk. But I love this ship, so I'm really excited to see it. All right, so the Banu Merchantman's exterior progressed through Gray Box, with the team acting on what was learned through the R&D phase. Holy crap, there's so much on the Banu Merchantman. I did have it as the thumbnail, so let's take a look at some of the art from it. I actually don't know if I downloaded all of it on here. Might have to go grab it from the interwebs. But the Banu Merchantman is a very, very highly anticipated ship. We've been waiting for it forever. And to be honest, people are a little rabid for it. They're a little crazy for this ship. I mean, you know, why not? It's like they've done spaceships before, right? They've done a lot of very cool, very unique spaceships, but none of them were alien made. Except for like the Banu Defender, and a couple other small ships. We haven't gotten any large ships made by aliens. So they get a lot of opportunities here to go way outside of the norm and make some pretty ridiculous shapes and architectures and all that stuff. And I think that's going to make this ship probably one of the most, actually probably the most impressive spaceship in a video game when it comes out. Thank you for the 100 bits, Meridian. So it is going to allow them to make some, I mean, just look at the concept images. It's insane. And don't worry, I'm about to show real progress, not just concept art. It's not just JPEG simulator. It's actually MP4 simulator too. But the different things that they're looking at doing with this ship are just mind-blowing. Let me give you guys a look at the actual animations that they've put into this. It's basically what it says. It's supposed to be a merchant's vessel. The idea is that you're a traveling merchant. You carry tons and tons of cargo and goods in this massive cargo delivery area. And then you can... and then you bring people on board, so they dock with your ship. They come on board. You sit down in these nice rooms. They have the ability to look out over the showroom in the back at what they're buying. Get all of the specs here on the table, do all these fancy deals. You know what? That's another one of those things that's just like, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do that. But we'll see. We'll see what they're going to do with it. Because they seem very hooked on the idea. So here's a couple of the, this is some of the concept that they showed us last year. Animations. Oh, there's no animations in this. Give me animations. They got really, really crazy, elaborate animations and like ship moving stuff. It's really cool. They also made it bigger, so there's a hangar in it now. Just to give you an idea of how much these ships grow from concept to complete. This is the old concept on the right, and this is the new one on the left. And this happens to almost every ship. Some more of the ship animations. That's the entranceway in the bottom there. Of course, ridiculously elaborate. And then I think I have the landing gear. Maybe not, I don't see it. Whoa! I don't remember seeing that one. That is so cool. See, like, you don't even need to do that. Who does this? I don't think I have the landing gear on here, though. Not just mountain ramming. That's a pretty good concept image. So the trading thing is to NPCs. They say it like it's going to be to players, too. You're supposed to be able to do everything on players like you do with NPCs. But... don't ask me how. So yeah, the Abandoned Merchantman is continuing through Gray Box. I would probably take a good guess and say if it's in Gray Box right now, we won't see it until at the earliest to December of this year. But probably not till next year. There's a video that has all the animations. That's cool. Yeah, if you guys want to check that out, that'll probably show you everything. Turret is where I'm going to spend a lot of my time if it works the way Jared talked about it. Yeah, that'd be cool. All right. 4 unannounced ships were also further development through the month. 1 in the final art phase, with work focusing on the complex technical areas. 2 are currently in the white box stage, while 1 has completed an art perspective. So... Just for like a catch-up, concept, white box, gray box, final art. Those are like the general parts of the production process, like the order. There's a lot more small steps in there, but those are kind of like the big ones that they refer to. So the first one, which is in final art, probably could do for Invictus Week. Most likely that Drake, what is it? The Mule? Drake Mule we've been hearing about. Because notice here they say vehicles. They'll specify if they mean ships. But they say vehicles here, which means some of these aren't ships. or one of them at least. 2 are currently in the white box stage, which probably means we won't be getting them until late this year, if not next year. Depends on how big the ships are. If they're small, we could be seeing one this year, but And then one getting completed in the art perspective, it's like the concept phase, so that's way out. What happened with the Polaris? They haven't started on the Polaris yet. You and your brother bought this game last night. How is the support help on this game if you're reporting any problems with the game? There's actually a issue council here that you go to where they have a whole... Oh, gosh. I have to sign in? Okay. Oh, that's nice. It made it really easy to sign in. And I sign in with my different account. So you can contact the RSI support, or you can actually report bugs on the issue council yourself. What the heck? Why can't you just sign in, select a project? Oh, I don't have access. I think I need to be in my other account. Hold on. I'm going to confirm this for you. Here's my socks. Stop signing me into the other account. Oh, this is a pain. This website is so bad. I can't log in from any page other than the main one. Okay. How many people are so sick of getting this page? You guys can't see it. This page. Constantly like, remember me, remember me, remember me. Keep me signed in. Please remember me. Stop making me do this. Just like, come on. All right. So, now that we've gotten through the horror show that is this game's website, let me show you. Okay, so apparently you can't do anything on the issue council report anymore. But normally, from my own experiences, you can normally turn these things in very easily to the page where all the developers can see it. They pick the topics that they're working on. That's where they go for the bug fixes they need to do, all that stuff. So definitely make sure that you're doing that if that's how you want to. If that's how you want to turn in some stuff, that some problems that you find, that's the best way to do it. I mean, I have an authenticator app. I just use the Google Authenticator app. It's just the fact that I have to keep doing it over and over. Enable cookies? Oh, on the RSI websites, that's what I have to do. I don't like cookies. Brownies only. Issue council's working for you? Alright, that's good. I guess I'm just a loser. Oh no, it logged me into the wrong account again. Yo, what is up with this? There we go. Okay, now I can see it. It would not let me sign in on my real account. All right. So this is basically how it works. You can come in here and you can be like, I don't know, Aurora keeps farting. Like, that would be a problem, right? Nobody wants that from their Aurora. And you can go in here and find it and see if it's an actual thing. Look through it. Yada, yada, yada. Make a comment, add your own contribution, let people know, say what you're using, all that stuff. They have a super robust system in here because this is basically what the game depends on. So definitely, if you are interested in doing that, actually participating in this system will get you further into the testing cycle, and you can possibly start to get access to the game before anyone else. But there is a way to do it. It's called the Issue Council. Like the Blizz Authenticator, all you do is hit an alert and it'll go on through. Yeah, those kinds of things are nice. You put his authenticator code in when you made an account and they never gave him any credit for it. Oh yeah. Okay, so you're looking for the help desk then, to ask them for help. They're usually actually kind of slow, but go to support and submit a request. You can also make a post on the forum if you'd like, but this is the best way to do it. I would say it's 5,000 UEC, so they might not get to it that quickly, unfortunately. Is it 5,000 for a referral? Okay, where did I just close the monthly report? Oh man. Back to where we were. Getting a little distracted again. Okay, where were we? In the US, the team focused on the Drake Corsair, creating a space in the fuselage for the docking ring. Docking ring, turrets, landing gear, and elevator. They then moved onto exterior detailing towards the tail. For the interior, they created the crew quarter set that will populate all 4 rooms. The foyer was finished, while the co-pilot's cockpit, engineering room, turret interior, and airlock are nearing completion. This ship is taking longer than I thought it would. I don't know, actually, let's double check how many people are working on it, because for the size ship that it is, it's taken longer to get out of the gray box than I thought it would. It's a good ship, and it's kind of a big ship. It's like, I think 50 to 60 meters long. But not, you know, it's not like Banu Merchantman size. So they've got 3 teams working on it. I wonder how many devs. And it's due to be done towards the end of this year. And for those who are wondering, let me pull up the Corsair for you guys. There are no videos of the Corsair. Alright, I'm sure I have concept art for it. I think this is the part of this stream I'm going to have to learn how to streamline. Looking things up. I can always find these pictures when I don't need them. Here we go. Okay, here's a picture of a Corsair. Here's a picture of a Corsair. So they were all at the bottom. So this is a asymmetrical ship. Does remind people a lot of kind of Star Wars vibes, as some of the ships in this game do. It's got 1 large wing over here, 2 small ones over here. People hate them. It's got a turret on the side here, which is usually deemed as being not super useful, but we'll see how it goes. Ultimately, it's a really cool ship. I think it's one of my favorite designs in the game as well. It's pretty unique. It's supposed to be an explorer ship, but they keep advertising it as a pirate ship. Not sure why. And yeah, it's a solid mid-sized ship, and I think adding this to the game is going to really flesh out those size ships, because a lot of people use those size ships. Mercury Star Runner is a good example, but also the Constellation. 600i is a little bit bigger, but it's all sort of in that range. I think that people are looking to find something. And here's sort of some of the current development going on with it. So this is how much they've modeled it out. Looks very similar to that concept that they made. So they usually do a pretty good job of that. And then here is a look at the interior as of a couple months ago. It's for exploring other people's cargo's hold. Ferrister, how's it going? Good to see you here. Yeah, it's a Drake ship, but still. Could be taking a long time because it's supposed to have smuggling compartments. I haven't mentioned anything about it, but maybe. At least, well, maybe they have and I just didn't know. The BMM has like 7 to 8 teams on it, but it's way bigger and more complex. Yeah, definitely. And using more gameplay systems with the tractor beam, or the cranes and everything. Although they're probably not working engineering right now. So yeah, that's the Corsair, and it's doing okay. It looks like it's on schedule for later this year. Moving on to weapons art, April saw weapons art dedicate time to improving the stow and stock helper setup, moving from a generic offset to a more handcrafted setup per weapon. This should result in weapons fitting more closely to the player's body and overall less clipping. That'd be nice. I don't want to see my weapon poking through my hair anymore, please. A similar pass was started on scopes, which will give the feature-exclusive team greater control and the ability to tweak ADS positions. That's actually pretty cool. I'd like to be able to tweak my ADS positions. On the art side, the team continued their work on Banu ship weapons, filling out the manufacturer with several new product lines. That's also exciting, because that's kind of the same ideas with the Banu Merchantman. They can probably experiment a little bit more with weapons, and seeing how they've been talking about weapons lately, it seems like they want to get away from just ballistic or energy damage and more into sort of different damage types and how they affect armor. Did you notice the screens on the ships now have animation effects on them? In game? I have not looked at that, no. If they manage to get the Corsair and Banu Merchantman done by the end of the year, that'll be insane. Oof. I could see the Corsair. I don't know about that BMM though. What's going on with that electric rifle? The Parallax Lightning Rifle, I believe it was. This bad boy. They haven't talked much about it specifically. They've just been mentioning that weapons are doing, weapons from new manufacturers are making progress, but nothing about this one exactly. Animation completed their first pass on many of the new FPS gadgets and iterated on the setup with the art team. They also continued with the fire extinguisher mentioned in last month's report. So that's actually... Let's see if that fire extinguisher though is actually pretty intense looking. It was a sneak peek a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, but it looks like I did not actually save it. Of course. What do you know? I'm sure we can look it up. Star Citizen Fire Extinguisher. Did I spell that wrong? I spelled that wrong. Yeah, so this thing, it's a chonk, but it looks pretty cool. Looks like the future. This is going to be actually used. So let's talk a little bit about that for a second, yeah? The fire extinguisher is going to be used for the fire feature, which makes a lot of sense. Fires are going to be a big deal in the ships and on ground. You're going to have to make sure to contain fires when they break out, put them out before they're able to deplete your oxygen too quickly, because obviously now that they're going to put life support modules into these ships. You now have to pay attention to how much oxygen you guys are using, right? And if you've got three people in a ship that's made for two, that's already a risk. If a fire breaks out, you're not going to be able to breathe. So that kind of stuff is going to be a big deal, especially on capital ships when you're getting into big battles and stuff like that. But it makes sense coming from the team that, some of the team that built Far Cry 2, right? So here's some of the early work on the fire feature. You can see that they already developed ways for the fire direction and animations to be changed by wind and stuff like that. And there's a video in here that's actually pretty hard to find. I probably won't find it. It shows that they're using sign distance fields, the same thing they use for the ship's shields. They're using that as a way to direct smoke through vents and in between rooms. So this smoke will actually be able to displace not oxygen, but make it harder, I think, for players to breathe, I guess. When it fills up rooms, the smoke is not something that they're just going to make disappear. It will also have an effect on what's going on in your ship. Thought I had more videos of the fire feature. They've released quite a few. I'm gonna do a video on it for sure. Just don't know when. So yeah, that was one of the... Oh, actually, that's not the only thing that we have to look at. They also talked about other gadgets, right? So if you see here, new FPS gadgets. What are FPS gadgets, you may ask? I know I did. They've shown us some concepts for things like breaching charges. So that we can put them on doors and, I don't know, breach them. I like the design. I think it looks pretty cool. They've got, let's see, what else? We've also got salvage attachment. White box phase salvage attachment with the animations. We've got tractor beams. I like the tractor beam design a lot too. And you can actually tell, so looking at this right here, remember that little fin looking design like that? And you can tell from... What were we gonna... Here we go. This is a sneak peek they released of the ship tractor beam. They didn't tell us it was a ship tractor beam, but if you look at the sort of fins there... oh, did I just close the video? But if you look at those fins, they do look really similar to the handheld tractor beam we were just looking at. So, a couple of little tips that or hints that they drop here and there. And I think we've got the animations here too. So that's just some of the FPS gadgets they're working on, but stuff that's going to be really useful for some of these professions they're coming out with: salvaging, cutting, tractor beaming, all that good stuff. Imagine using a breaching charge in the 890 jump. That would be cool. If ships use oxygen and stuff like that, and then you log out in your ship bed, does your character use up oxygen while offline or no? Probably not, because the ships will eventually be streamed out if you log off from them. If nobody is awake on the ship, then the ship's not technically working. Hull C might have tractor beam turrets? I don't know. Have they mentioned that? I do not know. All right, so we got the community post here. I usually skip this. We did do a stream on the MISC Expanse QA, though. If you want to go back in my YouTube streams, should be able to find that. Engine part. You guys, you shouldn't even trust me on this. I'm gonna skip most of this. They've done some good work on the Gen 12 renderer, though. Terrain patch rendering has been improved. They did stuff with, I think, shadows. Yeah, planet terrain height map and shadow rendering are finalized and merged upstream. Gen 12 ports of atmosphere and cloud rendering will commence shortly. Basically, they've gotten a lot of the actual rendering work done for Gen 12. They're working on the transparent layers now, but which is going to bring us the real improvements. Everything that's happened right now wasn't supposed to be major improvements of Gen 12. What we've gotten so far has been kind of a surprise. So the Gen 12 work we're seeing on the monthly report now is the stuff that's going to bring the real benefits, hopefully later in the year. Will ship tractor beams be able to pick up players and NPCs? That would be pretty funny. That would be really funny. Yeah, Gen 12 is layers like ogres. What's up, Bon? How you doing? Gen 12 like an onion. On the core engine, the potential deadlock in the exception handler was fixed. There you go, guys. We were all looking for that, right? That was something we were all really excited about, the potential deadlock in the exception handler. I had bad dreams about that one. Good to see it. GPU frame time is now included in analytic events to provide better data on how long actual frame times are on the GPU, ignoring VSync. See, this is... I can just read this to you guys. I can't explain it. Furthermore, to simplify deployment, Linux game server instances now also use separate user folders. Haha. Lastly, the majority of time was spent making last month's various optimizations in the core engine ready for release in Alpha 3.17. See, not in Gen 12, in the core engine. does salvage mean that destroyed players' ships will persist for further salvaging? We don't really know. That's the expectation. They haven't necessarily confirmed. They might have briefly confirmed that. They have confirmed that they're making optimizations to allow ships to hang around longer for that kind of thing. So, yeah, I think that's still the goal. Have they decided if they're going for the fireman lift to pick up friends' bodies? They've definitely, yeah. They mentioned that they want to create better ways to carry people moving faster. Separate user folders seems like stuff we don't really need to know about. Well, I mean, something that you're not interested in might be something somebody else is very interested in. That's the beauty of these monthly reports, though, is that they basically are putting everything on the table for us to read through. So, and that's why a lot of people prefer to just read the summaries that I do on video rather than sit here for the whole watch through. Excited to see everyone crash them into stuff. The reclaimers. I imagine these are just admin accounts and stuff that have users on their servers. I was thinking it meant users like different, when you log in on the game, you would have a different folder for each user with different settings. That was my expectation. I wonder if true persistent means that there will be bunkers filled with hundreds of bodies. I think they'll get the janitor to come mop them away. User, like Tron. Is everyone suffering with severe FPS drops in Hurston since 3.17? I have not noticed any on my end, no. Okay, moving on to features. Because I know y'all are a bunch of sluts for some good features. The PU team began, we skipped a section. Throughout April, the feature team progressed through inventory issues based on feedback from the Alpha 3.17 PTU phase. So much feedback on the inventory system. This involved adjusting the underlying inventory logic and flow to work with the new persistence tech, which was a significant undertaking involving close collaboration with the back-end teams. I bet that was getting persistent streaming to work with all of the inventory stuff was probably... There's probably a debate on whether they should wait until after persistent streaming was in to do that. Hello, Sam Ghost. Good to see you. Once complete on this whole features thing, they moved on to the fire extinguisher. Heyo. It is an interesting challenge, they said, as it has quite a different profile compared to other weaponry. It has a bulky cylinder that holds the liquid or gas, which can spray continuously. This gadget is going to be important in combating interior fires on spaceships to stop them draining the life-critical oxygen supply. We are working closely with the VFX team to connect the logic with the fire hazard system, as well as bring the weapons to life visually. I can't not show you guys the fire hazard system. Like the fires that we've gotten, the effects that they've done on this are just like phenomenal. They're great. Here's some life support stuff, I think, pressurization and stuff, but that's not. No, we want. It's an engine. This is the problem with the naming stuff, or the fact that I can't search for files in this folder, is that I can only go by first letter, like in this way. Where would it be? Vehicles? Hold on. This should be actually in my iDrive. So I might actually be able to search for it for you guys. Yes, I can. Cool. I'm an idiot. Here it is. So this is an early placeholder of the visuals that they want it to get working. But this is kind of to show how the fire is supposed to propagate. So they want the different materials to have different flammabilities. We've seen that before. It's part of the Item 2.0 system that they built several years ago. But you could see how like different items have different ways of catching fire. Some of the stuff gets hot and melts. Some of the stuff doesn't catch. Some of the stuff does catch. Sort of different based on what's burning. But they've shown us a lot of different examples of this. They for some reason, they really love to melt the 600i. But they've shown us a lot of examples of how they want for this to spread and affect the room that it's in and all that stuff. Can I search for search term? True, at least until you can hire NPCs to assist. Yeah. Could you share that folder with all those videos and files on Google Drive? No, sorry. That's kind of what makes me able to do my videos. That take away a lot of the hard work that I put into that. Let's see. The PU team began the month supporting the release of refueling and mining gadgets, including a fix for in-atmosphere refueling. For the mining gadgets, they added a red light to clearly show if the gadget detaches. We love some fixes. This is the best part about monthly reports on the first month of a quarter, is you always get a lot of talk about fixing the last patch, and it's like, well, okay. Will ships have fire suppression systems like sprinklers or something to combat fire that is not the extinguisher itself? You know what? I bet you they're going to make an AI blade for it. For those who haven't heard about AI blades, they're essentially just computers that you could put into your ship in a certain amount of slots that every ship gets that take away one of the responsibilities that a human would normally have to do. So maybe targeting in turrets, maybe equipping countermeasures, different things like that. And I think the fire suppression seems like a pretty good opportunity for that, but I don't know. A burned out husk is the preferred interior of the 600i? You dirty. Alright, they have mentioned previously some ships will have fire suppression systems. Okay. Being hackable would be cool, that would be. Stealth missions. Significant progress was made on ship salvage, with an improved HUD being created for the Drake Vulture salvage mode. They also added additional aiming functionality tailored to the unique setup of the ship's arms. The Reclaimer's salvage turrets were also properly set up and can now scrape holes. That's... Who... can I see a show of hands for anybody who thought they would be adding functionality to the Reclaimer at this point? I mean, I guess if you asked me back when the Reclaimer was added to the game, I would have been like, oh yeah, 2022. Sure, we would be using it. But if you asked me last year, I'd be like, no way. Pfft, they don't care about the Reclaimer. Yeah, you'd also be able to vent smoke out of the room or vent oxygen out of the room to reduce the fire. But the whole thing that they're saying is that the reason you would want to get rid of a fire is because it's reducing your oxygen already. So venting the room might actually be the worst option, since with life support systems being so difficult to run, you might want to save as much oxygen as you can. If a vulture salvages another vulture, is that cannibalism? Absolutely. But you got to do what you must. Functionality in ships? What are you talking about? But yeah, that's pretty crazy. So Reclaimers are going to be, it's going to be funny. You're going to bring in this massive behemoth of a ship, get right up next to your target, and then you're going to shoot out this little tiny, little laser at the other ship. What will the Reclaimer do with the stuff salvaged? Probably just store it to be sold or something, whatever the Vulture does. Would be nice to see voxel-based integration to that engine. Yeah, they talked about that. But it seems like it's going to be way too hard to do with these types of this type of game. All right, let's see. Work on the UIs for life support and engineering gameplay progressed, while improvements were made to the tools used to set up the resource network, which will make working on it easier. You could check out the engineering gameplay. So Resource management's going to be a big old part of keeping these ships running. We've all kind of really been excited about getting to actually do something in other people's ships, right? And they added turret support, and it's like, okay, cool, I could be a turreter. They added mining support. It's like, great, I could do mining, but that's kind of, it's the same thing that I do on my own ship. What else have they done? There's not really anything that forces people to be on ships together. This is going to be the first thing that does. This is going to be the thing that finally makes people who are at least in larger combat ships have to bring people aboard, because if you're not tweaking your power, if you're not shunting power where it needs to go at a specific time, you're going to lose. So this is what the developer version of what I'm talking about looks like. You've got relays, batteries, turrets, power plants, fuel tanks. You've got all kinds of stuff that are built into this system that keeps your ship running. And you can see here we have a hammerhead. So the hammerhead is got one turret in the front here, another turret in the front here, two turrets halfway back, and then a turret in the back we can't see here. It's also got a battery here, fuel tank back here, power plant, shield generator. It's got all the components there, right? They're all hooked up to this power system. And what happens is, as the developer goes around, turns off a power relay and shows how that cuts off power to that entire wing of the ship. And that's the sort of thing that they're like, okay, so if you get shot out at this part of the ship in a battle, right? You've got the ship full of turrets shooting all these people doing a good job, and you get shot out in that spot, you're going to need to have an engineer who can easily get to this relay, right? Wherever that is in the ship, repair it, run it, replace it, whatever, or simply reroute power. So as you can see here, he turned off this relay, but the only reason power drops is because the relay on the top and the relay on the bottom are off. So if they were to turn those back on, or turn that one back on, they get power to the front of the ship. So this is going to be a really big deal for big ships, and it's something that they've been working on and talking about a lot lately. You can see more of it here. This is going to be a big deal feature. We don't really know when it's going to get here. I think it's probably not going to be until early next year at the earliest. But it's going to definitely change the way that these large ships work. Big Dave, you left where? Hopefully not GII. You left the event? Okay, we'll have to talk about that. This will give multi-crew ships balance and purpose. They will require a crew. Yeah, it's gonna be good for multi-crew ships. Sea of Thieves times 10. It is the idea, same idea of Sea of Thieves. That's always been the best representation of what they've wanted to do, it, in my opinion, is... See, there's a good example here. Both of the relays are off here, but both of these are on, so still all the power gets out here. And one of the coolest parts, in my opinion, is how if you turn off your power plants, technically you can still power the ship because you have a battery. I love that. And they've also shown kind of... gosh, what would that be called? They've actually also shown how these batteries are going to work in a handheld version. So the alarm here, this is an example they've already built. They've been testing this stuff for since 2020, working on these systems. So this is like a battery right here, right? You turn the battery off, all the power turns off. You grab one of these blades that also has power in it, put it in, and it turns it all back on. So they've definitely shown that they have working models of this in closed environments. And this is something they want to apply to ships, to outposts, to space stations, to anything, to give us control over these power systems. Something that you see in other MMOs a lot, to various degrees. Big Dave, could you please send me a DM? Actually, could you send a DM to Mrs. Tomato, please? But there is a lot to do in Star Citizen. Yeah, there is. Also, did you make a complaint by any chance, Big Dave? We have a form there specifically for this kind of stuff so that we can keep track of this stuff so you're not getting these kinds of problems in all the events. If you don't send a message, please fill out one of the complaint forms for us so we can get on top of this. Thank you. Will you actually have to run around your ship and patch holes? You won't necessarily have to patch holes, assuming everybody is wearing spacesuits, but like if somebody shoots a railgun through your cockpit and there's a giant hole in the side, you might want to repair it. And it could help. But no, you don't have to repair them. Solo system batteries mean stealth ability becomes extremely viable. Good point. You won't have to run your power plant. So if you completely turn off, can you be scanned? No, only be scanned through visual. You can actually already see that in game right now. I don't know if I have any videos of that. Actually, I do. So if you pull up the scanning system in the game right now. Come on, where would it be? Scanning. All right. So if you look at the way that the scanning system works right now, you see these three things on the top here. This is infrared, this is cross-section, this is electromagnetic. And if you watch those readings on different ships scanning different things, you'll see that they're different. So like right here, they're not getting any of those emissions. In fact, it goes deeper. If you check this out, say your ship is powered off, but you can still be scanned by cross-section. You can see right here that if the ship is powered off and you're able to slip behind another object, so they're going to turn off. So you see, he turns off infrared and electromagnetic scanning. So it's only using cross-section, and once it moves behind the object, no longer scannable. So you'll be able to play with things like that while you're playing, and this already works. Let me see if I can find... There is a good shot here that shows this exact thing happening, where... Scanning. Here we go. Nope, that's not it. Is this it? This is it. So, as the player gets closer, those emissions make a bunch more targets start popping up. And that's that same idea. If you turn your ship off at a certain distance, you'll be invisible completely. Wondering how they're going to change the monetary incentive to multi-crew, because solo grinding right now is most effective for making cash. Yeah, the balances, the payouts, how even the value of the credits in game right now is just completely out of whack. Always stoked to see new stuff. You're just a small indie dev? That's pretty cool. This game attracts a lot of developers. Pyro is not coming next patch. No, Milo. That's a lie. Haven't you seen how Jared showed the repair holes of ship body by using of FPS tools? Have you seen? That wasn't repair. I'm not saying that you can't do it. I was saying that you don't have to do it. What Jared was showing off was salvaging, though. That wasn't repair. They haven't shown us repair yet, for whatever reason. I don't know why. What we're talking about right now is this. So this is salvaging. This is the opposite of what you would do if you got a hole in your ship. And this is a form of gameplay we've been waiting for a while. But this is salvaging the hull of the ship actively. Basically, the opposite of that would be, repairing it. What's up, Ricky? Dropping through atmosphere with power off and turning on before smashing into the ground. Thought they showed us repair with a robotic arm a while ago. Oh, maybe they did. Maybe I missed that. Vehicle features. Ooh. Get some tea for this. Ooh. You hope they do something like making active reactors generally super noticeable to scanning, and then thrusters are also super noticeable. That already happens. We were testing it last year with a Carrack and a Starlifter, I think. We found a distance, and I scanned them, and they were popping up on active radar, and then when they turned their engines off, I couldn't see them anymore. So it does work right now. It's very basic, but they've got it. They're ending the salvage delay running gag. It's a shame on them. What happened to the repair drones at Cryastro? God, if I know. They're being used to ferry coffee around the offices of CIG now. Ooh, it's good tea. All right. Vehicle features team started the month technically setting up the Hull A, making sure its cargo feature works as designed. They then implemented the turret on the Scorpius. The Hull A is it's an exciting ship. It's not one I'm super pumped for, really. I mean, I'm more pumped for the Hull A once it actually gets the ability to load things onto those spindles in not a placeholder mode, but it is still a very cool ship, and I'm glad they got it done. I mean, look at these freaking animations. What ship needs animations like this? But I think that's why a lot of us back the game. So it's a cool ship. It's going to be a great little starter cargo transporter. I'm excited to see how they fit it into the cargo transport career path. Not for me, though. Following support for Alpha 3.17, the team returned to feature development, testing further gameplay updates to master modes and QT boost. I don't know what that means. I wish I did, but they're reworking the quantum travel system. And I guess maybe there will be a boost function, because as you have seen, we have some major distances to travel. I'm thinking maybe they'll allow us to get some sort of a boost functionality in quantum travel for large distances. I don't know. I have no clue what this means. Maybe it's not even a physical boost. I'm not sure. They also, I've noticed they keep referring to quantum travel as QT in the monthly reports. I don't know if that's something that changed over time, but it is something I keep in my back of my head. I'm waiting to see the next time they refer to it as quantum travel, because maybe they're trying to get away from the confusion between quantum traveling and the quantum economy simulator. In which case, that would be nice, because that's confusing. Will any of the new ships be at Invictus for us to try out? I think they'll have the Scorpius there. Hull A has 4 times more quantum fuel than a Freelancer, so might be a nice stealthy ship to travel through Pyro with. Fair. Fair. Just one question. Will asteroid scanning stay as it works now? Scanner seems not working, and checking asteroids at close distance takes a lot of time. I don't know what's going to happen with scanning. I don't actually know what's going on with scanning right now, but I do think that scanning is going to continue to get harder. I don't think it will ever get easier than it is right now. I think scanning is just another one of those things that we've gotten really used to being a very, very simplified game mechanic. That will probably continue to, change and get more complex. Say you have 2 ships parked on a planet. If you log out of the game, will your ships be visible to other players? Only for a short amount of time. If I remember correctly, when they first talked about this, I want to say, this might be wrong. This might not be the correct article for this. But they used to talk about, okay, so what happens if I disconnect or rage quit in the game? When you disconnect, if you're in space, I'm sorry, I got discarded. When you disconnect, the server attempts to take you to autopilot. If you're in space and close enough to a hostile, the server will attempt to gain enough separation to enter autopilot. If it's successful, the server will then place your ship back on the planet you last landed on. If not, and you haven't managed to reconnect to your AI-controlled ship, before the hostile destroys your ship, it is assumed you ejected successfully and will be returned to the last planet you landed on. If you have insurance, you will have a new hull waiting for you. We will monitor players' disconnects, and if we feel like you are gaming the system, we may enact a death penalty. This is very old, by the way. This is from 2013. But they were thinking about this kind of stuff back then, and I do think that likely what will happen if you log off on your ship on a planet, your ship will just despawn at some point. If you drop out though, like disconnect without any sort of preparation or going to bed, I think this kind of thing will still play out, something like this. But they haven't talked much about that. Am I a dev or is this all speculation? I am not a dev. Everything that I am putting out there is not necessarily speculation. That's why I pull up a bunch of the videos they released to prove my points. But it's just stuff that I've followed while they've been making it and just putting point and point together. Where's the gameplay for the Mako? Mako's the filming one, right? Or is that the science one? Yeah, I think they'll remain if there are other people around. But that is definitely speculation. Imagine if they would allow ship-to-ship cargo transfer, would make a nice loop for mining, hauling, and refueling. Well, they kind of, they're hinting at it. Something you could do with tractor beams. Actually, right now, you can log off by falling asleep, Ninja Waffle. That is the way to do it currently. Alright, I'm going to throw on something to not put me to sleep. Okay, so we were on desync issues. Time was also spent investigating the AI desync issue. Although many improvements have been made, the depth of the issue across many areas of the game has made it difficult to narrow down the causes, with fixes exposing further problems. Yay, problems. Do I think that will be on sale this month? That we will have a sale this month at Invictus, yeah, on May 21st. Work was also done on quality of life improvements and tuning across the game, including for racing ships in atmosphere, loadout changes, and the health of industrial ships. So it's good stuff. Graphics and VFX programming is honestly kind of like the engine for me, in that I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to help you all out with, but let's see. Last month, the graphics team supported Alpha 317 with fixes for render to texture, missing shadows in caves, and issues with display screen transparencies in render to textures, and various crash fixes, including some related to a gas cloud streaming. Render to texture is... They talked about it in Star Citizen Live last week. Render to texture is when they basically copied the screen that your GPU is rendering for you and play it somewhere else. Or rather, not for you. It could be rendering anything in the game, but it's doubling some scene from the game in another location. So whenever you get a call from security, they're very annoying, I know. They suck. Security is horrible. But when they call you and they're like, hey, we're scanning you, stay still, I believe that is a render to texture, in that they are filming the NPC inside of the spaceship and then showing you what's happening in the spaceship, rather than just playing some video representation for you. The difference is actually a big deal, because it's not that bad when they're just showing some NPC on a screen. But for instance, the example they used last week was exterior landing cameras on a ship. If you have a camera on the outside of your ship and you are, say, trying to land on an asteroid near gas clouds, you now have to render all the gas clouds for your screen, and you have to render all the gas clouds for that extra camera, which is a lot of work. So render to texture fixes are really good, because the more they happen, the more we'll be able to call other players. We'll be able to see other players interacting inside of our own ship screens. And they'll be able to do other cool things like maybe news reports or live video feeds and stuff like that. The camera is messed up. I have a broken camera. That's why we don't have the goal up there anymore, because I'm ordering the cam link. But I had a broken camera, and I'm waiting until we could get a new one. It also looks like Cyberpunk, so it's cool. Okay. For Gen 12, the team focused on setting the proper viewport size to render passes in the G buffer and depth pre-pass stages to support the render to texture pipeline. I don't know what that means. Work also continued on the cleanup of resource arrays and analytics shadow scattering queries. VFX auto tests continued too, with the flow graph nodes being updated for more consistent results. You know who I feel like when I'm reading this? I feel like the people from the old Around the Verses, like Brian Chambers and Aaron Roberts, and who else would do them? I don't know if Todd Pappy ever did them, but like the directors of the studios would sit in front of a camera and say all this kind of stuff for their studio. And I can kind of tell that I think it's the same person maybe writing them, or maybe it just feels very similar. Yeah, it's my, I should have broke a camera for the Cyberpunk 2077 launch and just streamed with this. All right, lighting section. In April, the lighting team continued to focus on Invictus launch week. Yay! That's the sale I mentioned, by the way. That's coming up later this month. A full lighting pass was completed on various locations and points of interest before the team moved on to polishing, optimizing, and bug fixing. We're going to talk a lot about these locations in a couple minutes. Camera quality has losses because it's sent through a jump gate. Nah, just tried to log into Star Citizen. It's just keeps 30K'ing over there. The team also worked on the new planet-side reclaimer Derelict. This involved a lighting pass on the interior of the ship and blending the exterior into planetary surroundings. We've seen this a lot as well. This is something I'll be pulling up shortly here. Make sure I've already got it. Got it pulled up. Okay, locations team. This is where the fun starts. I love the locations teams. It's a lot of fun. Invictus week is, yeah, it's a free fly. The main push for the locations team last month was finalizing environments for Invictus launch week. Now, I'm going to pull this up for you guys so you can see some of this. These are leaks, so if you don't want to see them, look away for the next like 30 seconds. Okay, giving you some time. So, what they're doing with Invictus Week, it's going to be on Orison, and they've got several platforms with different environments where we're going to be FPS fighting with people. We'll have access to vehicles. We'll have access to cover. There will be FPS setup scenarios for us to fight in. I'm not going to tell all the details. This is just kind of a little preview, but you can see that they've got a lot of space and a lot of things. And it all culminates in a big battle that we'll be having. Not in Orison. It's a ways away from Orison to avoid some of that lag. But a big battle that we will be having against the Ninetales pirate gang to take back this land. So that's just a brief little preview of what they're talking about here, but they've been finalizing that for Invictus Week. Yeah, it's 1,000 kilometers outside of Orison in order to try and avoid some of the lag from the city. And then, you know, obviously if you can't handle the clouds, turn that off on your GPU. So hopefully that will help, but it does sound like maybe this event might be getting delayed until after Invictus Week. We'll see. Elsewhere, work is almost complete on several small locations the Sandbox team is planning to release in an upcoming patch. The areas themselves are finished and are currently awaiting a distribution pass across Stanton. This surprised the heck out of me. Not gonna lie, this surprised the heck out of me. I was not expecting us to get new locations in Stanton before the Pyro system. I didn't think they had it in them. I didn't think they had the overhead even to do it. Real quick. If I may, I'm not seeing it. They just showed us a new location or two. What is this? No. Oh, that's labeled wrong. Let me just rename this real quick. Sorry. Oops. Let's see. I don't see the specific location here. This might be it. Okay. So I don't know where this is. I thought originally that this was in Pyro because I couldn't imagine they were adding more of these to Stanton. But we do see something kind of like this on Aberdeen and Stanton. So there's a good chance that what they were showing us here are actually new locations coming into Stanton later this year. Maybe with mission content. I'm not really sure. But it's pretty cool to hear that they're working on stuff for us still. I don't know. I think this would be Pyro. But I can't. They didn't really tell us that much. Nope, this is definitely Pyro. But that other one might be in Stanton. And getting more locations in Stanton is a good sign. Also continues that theory. That they are able to work on this many different locations at once. That locations pipeline. For anybody who follows my my videos, you will know that I just recently, this is the thumbnail for a video. Anybody who is a Twitch subscriber or a YouTube channel member, go check this video out. Please, I promise you, this will add so much context to what they're doing with locations now. It's all about why we're starting to see a lot more. And one of my favorite videos. When Scorpius, probably end of this month. Any progress about Orion and Polaris? No, none yet. Stanton is far from finished. We still need the Air and Halo belt. Oh yeah, Stanton is years and years away from being finished. Most of these systems will be getting additions probably for the life of the game, I would imagine. Did I see the Reclaimer Derelict sneak peek from the newsletter? I did. That's what we're going to pull up here in a couple minutes or seconds or however long it takes. Pre-production continues on new space-based POIs, with the team exploring one final theme before moving into the white box stage. New cave prototypes are progressing well, with improvements to materials and the general read across the board. This must be some of that. I really do hope that they're introducing ice with these new caves, because we need ice. We need ice. So I guess this is probably also, this actually, oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Where was that? This. I didn't even realize it. This. Dang it. Get down here. These are the same thing. Right? That looks basically the same. From right here, you can kind of tell that there's like grading. It's a circular opening. These are totally the same place. So is this colonialism? Or is this doesn't look like colonialism to me. Oh, wait a second. There's a doorway there. No, I might be wrong. Because there's a doorway right there. And this is underground. Never mind. False alarm. So 2 different locations. I'm okay with that too. Double the fun. But yeah, they were saying that they are adding more content to the Colonialism Outpost, nearing final release. The Outpost will soon start to be distributed across the Pyro system in readiness for their debut. And we all know what those look like. They were in last CitizenCon, which, again, let's just take one more moment to pour one out for all the people who continued to say that the stuff at CitizenCon wasn't going to be in game for years, because it's been all over the monthly reports. But this is what those updates are going to look like, or the new outposts. We've got tons and tons of footage of them. If you want to see more, I would check out the CitizenCon Life in the Verse from last year. It's on their YouTube channel. But these new outposts are meant to be a new form of sort of a new way to experience the basically boxes of vacuum that we had before, or boxes of pressurization that we had before as outposts. Now they're full-on towns. None of these really show. Thought I had a landing shot. There we go. So these are like full-on towns with multiple buildings out here that you'll be able to go and land at and take missions, and they're taking a lot of liberties in terms of design and atmosphere. You know, they're talking a lot about the props that they're using, the different materials. They've gone into the white box of the designs. They've shown us some of our future plans, which actually this kind of falls in line with the power system I was talking about earlier. For anybody who was excited about the power management we mentioned, you'll see in these concepts that they actually have locations on these different items where they know people will have to interact with them to do that sort of power management stuff. So it's not just ships, it's not just stations. These kinds of outposts will probably also have missions that require you to do some sort of maintenance or to help an outpost in a certain period of time. But you can see that we got to see these things at every point of development, from the most basic sort of actually from this stage, from literally just being sketched out to being turned into 3D sketches to being added for, you know, the feeling out of it without any art or anything like that. Oh, I just showed you guys that one. To finally being in-game. So it's been really cool to be able to see that. When do we get that 400 eye skin? It's already in the game. I don't remember what it's called, but they released it at the same time as this thing. Do I think we're going to get new outposts in Stanton before 4.0? I don't think so, no. But it does sound like we're getting something. Yeah, they do have those Star Wars vibes. And I'll show you guys actually to give you a good idea of how they're going to keep building on this, because this is just, we've only seen now, I think, 3 of their planned development styles for buildings. So this picture shows the timeline of the UEE. This is kind of dipping into lore, but this shows the timeline of how we spread. So 2075 over here, 2944 right here, which is basically present day for us in the game. And you can see that they started out with utilitarian styles, which is something we saw in R-Corp, we saw in Loreville, we see in the space stations. After a while, though, the UEE was born and we started spreading out into space, and we got colonialism. So that's what we've been seeing. That's why they keep talking about colonialism outposts, colonialism style. Even right here in this, they talk about these are the new colonialism outposts coming in. So that's the style they're setting up for this. We've already got utilitarian, we've already got colonialism, and then if you actually go to New Babbage, we've also got high tech. And you can see that they kind of use one of the Rayari outposts as an example of that. So we're still waiting on streamlined styles, meta-classicism styles, Henoistic styles, super modernistic styles. There are a lot of different things that they still need to build out throughout the game. But because we've got so many utilitarian assets, now we're looking at a lot more colonialism assets, and we've got high-tech assets. All of the planets that use those styles are going to have a lot easier time developing later on. So that's kind of what they've been shooting for, it seems, is to just continue to build out one type of construction or architectural style, then they can be used in the future. A little bit of lore. All right. So the locations team, oh boy, in Montreal, they are approaching the last development phases of both the Reclaimer Derelict settlement. Let me get this ready for you guys. The Reclaimer Derelict settlement and Reclaimer space-based POIs. For the Derelict settlement, the art team is currently polishing the carcass of the Reclaimer and the Habs, while the design team is implementing the locations missions. I'm going to do that thing again that I did with the... What was it? I don't know. Something I was talking about with concept art. First, I'm going to show you guys the concept art that they gave us for the Reclaimer Derelicts, which was What do you guys think? When was that? January? That was like 3-4 months ago. Or it's May. It was like 4 months ago, right? Where is this? Oh, I saved it in the art section. Did I save it? Oh, I'm in the wrong folder. Of course. All right. Art. So here is where they started showing us. These are dated to January 29th, 2022. So they just showed us this concept art. This isn't something they normally do. They show us concept art and we never see it later, but they gave us some looks at these derelict reclaimers and talked about how they want to have these settlements built near the ship where people were living and you can go and do missions and blah, blah, blah. And everybody, me included, was watching this ISC and being like, yes, okay, sure. That sounds great. But like, how many years, right? Then, suddenly, the next month, they were like, but wait, check it out. We've got some examples that we've already started building in Whitebox. And you can see that we're actually working on it. And I was like, okay. Hold the phone. This is actually stuff happening. Wait a couple months longer. Building the anticipation. And they say, okay, cool. So now we've got a whole settlement built out in the white box. We're finally modeling this. You can see that this is actually making progress towards being in game. And then they started showing us even more art driven of this stuff. And they're like, okay, not only is it modeled in game, this is an actual location at this point. So they've gotten a lot better at showing us these things that they want to do and then actually building them. And it seems like this is something that's going to be in the game pretty soon. 3.18, I would say. It's already in the game files in 3.17. So it's good news. It's good looks for the locations. And it's going to be really cool to finally get outposts that aren't just some random building, but like people who have made a living in a crashed ship. We'll have to see if the outpost does make it in before server meshing, because adding NPCs around the... I guess they're definitely planning on adding NPCs to planet side, so something to expect. Same can be said for moons, which have no cities, towns, and settlements at all. Oh, you're talking about, yeah, how a lot of planets won't be as difficult to make as Stantons. That is, yeah, good point. You still think outposts will get expanded before Pyro? That'd be cool if they have the overhead for it. It's like watching the tow truck you called break down and need its own tow truck with the reclaimer crashing, right? Reclaimers salvaging reclaimers. Love the idea of using huge ships for small settlements. They have some very cool shots. I don't know if I saved any of them recently. Freaking awesome shots. There's this really cool concept art. Let me see which... I don't remember what system it is. Let's just say Star Citizen concept art, Javelin, Destroyer, Settlement thingy. That's got to pull it up, right? It's got to show up from that. No, it definitely didn't. Okay. Star Citizen concept art, Javelin City. No? Hold on. Derelict City. I know it exists. Stop lying to me. Oh, this was actually a really cool episode where they showed a lot of stuff like that, but that is not what I'm looking for. I am looking for... You know what? I don't think it's here. Wait a second. I forgot I have all the concept art saved. Maybe I have this available, but there is a landing zone that was actually built in a Javelin. Or no, I'm sorry, it's not a Javelin. It's a Bangle. Bangle Derelict City. I'm just dumb. Still doesn't show up. But you can see they've got some like big derelict ships that they're planning. I don't know why I can't locate this one. Bummer. Not spider, no. What am I thinking of? What am I thinking of, folks? Yo, by the way, Mrs. Tomato just let me know that we've got 4 socks pre-orders. Thank you. Thank you very much for putting that in. That's awesome. Anybody who's wondering, we got some socks. Bam! And they've got pretty cool design on them. They're pretty freaking comfortable, not gonna lie. They hug the arch of your foot in this perfect way. But when you wear them, this is the best part. Just like our emotes, can I get my toes in chat? Can I hear my toes in chat, folks? Because we are the Toes crew. It says my toes on your toes. It's a thing. Don't worry. If you know, then you know. But they're actually really comfy socks. If you want them, it would be a great way to support the channel. Hit up !toes on Twitch if you want to know how to find them. Yeah, it's a way to support. Obviously, anybody can get socks anywhere, but these are fun socks and they've got tomatoes on them, so why not? Here's a picture of one of them. So you can see that they kind of built a city here on like a floating spaceship in the water. They've definitely got these sort of visions in mind. If you talk to the developers, you realize that a lot of them are basically just us, but they have the skills to make a game. Now you have a WikiFeet page. Perfect. Get my toes up there. So yeah, the Reclaimer Derelict is good with the settlements. They're planning some missions for those as well, which we'll talk about in a couple seconds. The space-based points of interest that the Reclaimer floating in space, they progressed through the white and gray box phase. Last month's work included the design team implementing and tweaking missions. The art team also began an art pass to narratively support the in-mission themes. So they're not just locations anymore, they're also missions. Yeah, these aren't on Redbubble. This was a special partnership we did with... Where can I find that link? Can somebody do the command? I'll do it. Oh, that's on Twitter. That's on YouTube, my bad. So here is the link for anybody on YouTube. No, this is a partnership through the company Juniper, who does a lot of merch for different companies. One of their biggest is Teletubbies, and they wanted to partner up with us to make a custom sock from start to finish, so it's not printed on the sock or anything. It's the actual threading. It's high quality. Not selling it on Redbubble. It's on its own store. Let's see. Also, Redbubble is no longer going to be our storefront. We use Fourth Wall now. Ooh. Who wanted to set up a store with us this last week. So we've transitioned over to Fourth Wall, and I'll have those links updated for you. Yeah, Teletubbies! That's actually what we're really excited for. So they want to see if we can bring a product to market like these socks and actually have some success in sending them out. And if we do, the next step could be like a tomato plushie or something. So we'll see if it happens, but they've got a lot of really cool products. You can look them up if you want. Juniper Creates. Cool people. Mossberg, thank you for the sub. Much appreciated. Will the Scorpius be in the next update? It should be, yes. At the end of the month. You don't know if you'd point out Teletubbies as a franchise? Why not? Don't they have good merch? I assume they have good merch. Who else do they provide? Maybe we could pick something cooler. Who's not Teletubbies that people actually know about on this page, though, you know? But Teletubbies has good merch, man. That's what they must be known for, right? I don't know. But these people. Pretty sure Teletubbies is on here. Yeah, see? Teletubbies. Look at that hot Teletubbies merch. Apex Legends, though. I guess I could say Apex Legends. That's probably more impressive. More people know that. So yeah, they do the Apex Legends stuff, and they wanted to try something out with us. Teletubbies, bye-bye. Still have nightmares about that? All right. Teletubbies is a bad brand. I get it now. I get it. Hey, it's not me. It's chat. Let's get back to the monthly report, though, right? That's probably the most important part of this. So they finally also further progressed on making Lorville bigger. They're defining recipes for buildings and blocking out the city. They're going to make Lorville a lot bigger. For those of you who know, Lorville was the first city added to the game, and it has not really seen any major updates since then, other than like interior updates. But it was added to the game in 2018, and all the other cities look a lot better, a lot newer. The R-Corp building set is actually what was originally going to be in Lorville, and they changed it up. Lorville has these like very ugly, or actually no, I'm sorry. The Lorville Lorville building set was going to be an R-Corp. But they want to make the buildings bigger, not just because the scale of the city feels a little bit off. It's not as up to date as the other ones. They're building interior gameplay on city buildings. So you'll be able to land on a building in the city, and maybe go down into the actual building to do a delivery mission or an assassination mission or something. I don't know to what extent they're going to be doing that, but that is part of the plan. So they need to redesign the city in order to make sure that's possible. And it's not the last time we'll see it. A lot of the planets in game are going to continue getting updates and new features added. R-Corp is probably going to get lakes and grassland in some areas. Orison is going to get space whales. Microtech is going to get, I don't know, like a giant Yeti thing. For anybody who was wondering about fauna, yes, fauna is in the plans. And Microtech has like this giant bear Yeti thing that's going to get implemented. So there's a lot of updates that will continue to come to the planets. Keep an eye out for that. They are known for being controversial and homophobic. Teletubbies? Why? That's like, huh. Would not have been what I thought. If you still follow Teletubbies as an adult. I think everybody is misunderstanding why I mentioned Teletubbies. It's kind of like if I was going to be like, hey, yeah, I just got in touch with this, I don't know, shoemaker, and they make shoes for Justin Bieber. It's not because I'm making shoes like Justin Bieber. It's because that adds credibility to the person who makes the shoes. But I'll go with Apex Legends from now on. It sounds like it's much cooler. All right, on to narrative. So the narrative team focused on making sure everything was ready for release in 3.17. That include playtesting, assisting design, supporting new features. Additionally, the team provided new text elements for Invictus launch week. Okay, narrative continued support for ongoing work on future dynamic event missions, and discussed how to best incorporate a new upcoming gameplay module into one particular mission's flow. I don't know what that means. Thank you though, Shake That Desk, for the bits. Much appreciated. Ah, yeah, dude. Partnered with Beebs. It's me and Beebs now. Oh, boy. Just bought the game and already getting burnt out. What missions or path should we take that's a lot of fun? Have you taken any missions? I'm going to go ahead and say it. If you've already started taking missions and you're burnt out, you're probably not going to find any other missions that are going to be fun. The boarding mission is good. And I would say probably the lawless missions in R-Corp. Doing Twitch's mission is good. Price of Freedom is good. But honestly, it's more about playing with people at this point, I think. They don't have a good variety of missions yet, because they've only just gotten the sort of basic ideas of missions running. Not running. They've been running for a while, but they've got a good set of basic missions that show off basic mechanics like combat and hauling cargo, but they don't have anything that's really going to have a great narrative that grips you, you know? I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but if you're looking for something that's much deeper, the best that you can do is probably Twitch's mission, which is the mission giver in R-Corp. Just pre-ordered some of the socks. Here's some more money. Yo, you pre-ordered socks and did a super chat? Cyber. Thank you. Much appreciated. I'm glad the Teletubbies didn't scare you away from getting the socks. Much appreciated. Do stuff for doing stuff, not for the money. That is the best advice you can get with this game. Right now, just play the game. Just explore and experience what it has to offer, because if you try and dig deep, you're gonna hit rock bottom. It's not that deep yet. They've got alpha implementations of most things just working, and a lot of features are just starting to get buttoned together. I would say definitely play to have fun, and then when a dynamic event comes up, that's when you want to try and make your money. That's when you can get the payment. So go find an org, a group of people who can always have something to do when you jump on, who are always chilling in Discord that you can go and play with whenever, do some shenanigans, some stealing drugs, or I don't know, crashing spaceships into mountains. And then when the dynamic events come around and you can get a 40,000 euro when you can get a 40,000 UE payout, that would be the time to focus on money. And they're talking about dynamic events here. I think we've got a couple more planned for this year, maybe 2 new ones, one at Invictus Week and then one at a next patch, maybe 3, maybe one with the release of Pyro 2 if it happens. How do I feel the progress on Pyro is going? It looks great. It looks like they're doing a really good job. Will hoodies and t-shirts be next? It depends on if we get enough sock sales. Yeah, we do have hoodies and t-shirts on Fourth Wall though. You can check those out. We'll get the link will be dropped in chat right now. Folks, give me one cool second. I will be right back. Gotta go to the bathroom. And then we'll get back to the narrative section. All right, we back. Yeah, don't use that Redbubble link. Use Fourth Wall. Their shipping's much better, and the quality's much better. It's on Stream Elements. The bot posts it. But yeah, Fourth Wall is our new provider. I'll do the I'll do the Teletubbies thing again. This is how they sold us on it. They were like, "Yeah, we provide merch for MKBHD." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Yeah." Sounds good. I like that guy. Do I feel happy? What do I feel happy doing in game? I'm trying to think, because I do enjoy quite a bit of the stuff in game. But what really makes me happy? Y'all probably know better than me. Usually just like going about my day. I think it's something. Oh, Cyber, you became a member also? I appreciate the heck out of you. And I'm gonna give you that usual plug. Make sure if you just became a YouTube channel member, or if you're a Twitch subscriber, you can get access to these too. Hit up this playlist here. These are all the exclusive videos that I've made so far for all YouTube channel members. Higher quality, deeper depth, pretty good. I think just going about my day in space though is really fun. Like it feels like I'm just living in space. I'm hauling cargo, but I'm not throwing it in a truck and driving down the street. Like I'm flying to another space station. I don't know. And just getting to experience the sights while I'm doing that is really fun. But I would say I'm probably not going to be truly happy in this game until I'm able to find and save locations and share that data. That's what I'm really excited for in this game. I get a lot of fun mining. You've been following this game for a while now, and you felt it's at a place where there's enough to do and explore that would keep you interested. You still gotta like it. You still gotta be into it, that's for sure. Oh, thanks for updating that, Drazen. I think big game hunting will be a thing, yeah. Space Frames, thank you so much for the 5. What's the most epic thing I like to do in game? Low flying is pretty fun, actually. In a group. Low flying in a group can be really cool. Could you do a stream of just looking through lots of the concept images that CIG made? Yeah, we could do that. I've actually got a folder. I prepared to do this a long time ago. And you can see here, I've got a folder at the bottom of my concept images folder called Twitch Review. And I just got a bunch of concept art together that I wanted to go over with everyone, but never got to it. So that's something I'd like to do. We can do it at some point. Ooh, and we got a raffle started. Thank you for the friend. Also subbed on Twitch, Cyber. You absolute legend. Oh my gosh, thank you. To answer your question earlier about the landing zone built in the Bengal, it was the Null system. Thank you. Star Citizen Null system concept art. Appreciate it. Oh, come on. Where is it? What? It doesn't just pop up when I type in null? Oh, it says ul. There it is. So they built a city in a Bengal. Jeez, that was hard to find. Jet Set, thank you so much for the sub as well. I appreciate you. Thanks for your throwing me your Twitch Prime sub. Much love. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about before. Gigantic Bengal carrier crashed and there's like a city built inside of it. These kinds of concepts are always on their mind. Okay, back on the narrative though. Planning began on an upcoming capture session to record content in support of new missions and to progress the ongoing NPC work with the AI team. Okay. And then on the website they talk about they released a couple of pieces of content. I actually did a reading of this, an audiobook reading of this. It's on the YouTube channel for people who are at a certain level of support on Patreon. On Patreon and Ko-fi. I do a lore reading every month where I find some interesting lore from Star Citizen or something else and read it out loud with like music and voice acting and all that stuff. It's my female voice needs some work, but I'm working on it. Oh yeah, find your own meta. Yeah. Agreed. Hey, thank you for the 10. Much appreciated. I wish I could read your name, but I'm probably gonna butcher it. Christoph. I hope that's close. Thank you so much for the support on YouTube, the super chat. All right, QA. I mean, QA just does testing, right? Oh, we'll go through it. Last month, QA focused on event testing, feature testing, integration checklists, and regular feature checklist testing. So testing stuff. The embedded AI team worked through fixes and feature updates dealing with the behaviors of FPS AI towards players and other factions. That's cool. I didn't know they had an embedded QA team in the AI. Probably need it. They also continued sanity and smoke checks to ensure NPCs haven't degraded. And smoke checks. And It just, like, you could replace the word checks with brakes and that sentence would make sense. They continued the sanity and smoke breaks to ensure NPCs haven't degraded. Like, y'all still good? Still smoking that joint the same way you were a couple hours ago? Okay, good. Get back to work. And they synced up with the mission team to broaden their testing. For the engine team, support continued with minimum spec PC stress testing, as well as page heap testing to catch memory leaks. I think people should really read the QA and engine parts when they ask for bug fixes. I don't think people realize how much time they spend on trying to fix things with this game, and they just keep breaking. The tools team continued to receive support on DataForge, Star Wars. I'm just going to call that Star Wars because it feels better. Excel copy build, and the sandbox editor. Can we, every time we see that word in one of these monthly report streams, can we just call it Star Wars? Because it just sounds like Star Wars. So QA did a lot of testing. I bet you didn't expect that. The tools team in Montreal. The Montreal tools team began putting the final touches to Mighty Bridge v.5, which will support the integration of Houdini into the editor. This will allow everyone on the team to use Houdini-powered tools directly in the editor. Houdini is something that they use a lot for things like gas cloud creation, for, I didn't know, but it seems space station and cave building. I actually didn't realize that Houdini was used for things that weren't volumetrics, but I guess it's part of the procedural toolset that they use to build these bases out quickly, which means that this is very important because now we can get some more variety in space stations and caves. What basically this will do is it's going to take this tool that we're looking at that's used to build these kinds of things, and instead of having to use it separately, developers normally would have to take whatever they're building, take it out of game into a Houdini editor, apply the Houdini stuff, put it back in the game engine, and see if it works. Now they'll be able to use the Houdini editor in the game engine in real time. Really got to fix that camera. You don't like this? You don't like my cam? All about procedural modeling and VFX. Yeah. Hey, thank you. Eriton, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate that support on Twitch. Once again, for Twitch subscribers, you all also get access to all of those exclusive videos. They're right there on Discord. Make sure to link your Twitch account to your Discord account and check out the game server. Just got the game, waiting for it to install. Any tips? Are there any perks or things that get better with level, or no? There are no levels. How much of this game have you looked into so far? I can give you some tips based on that answer. But there aren't any levels to level up with. Cyber strikes again. Gifting out 5 subs to the community. Gifted so I can get a new camera. Thank you. Much appreciated, Cyber. I'm going to get that camera. You're going to see. Next Monday, I'll have a better camera setup. I promise. But yeah, my best tip for when you get right into this game is don't try to go make money. I would get your spaceship. First, join our org. We'll give you some money, 50,000 UEC, whatever you need to kind of have a comfortable start. Ignore missions. Ignore making money. Just explore. If you're going to take a mission, take a delivery mission. Go find some cargo boxes and just find some place to drop them off. But I would honestly say explore the landing zone you're in, run around it, find the stores, find the exits, and then get to your ship. Figure your ship out, explore it a little bit, feel out the controls, and then fly your ship a little bit in the atmosphere and see how it treats you. You know, if it's patting you on the back, telling you you're a good person, giving you the best friend treatment, continue on. But if it's being an absolute, you know, and treating you like a jerk, put it down, take a couple seconds, get on somebody else's ship, you know, and go explore that way. Oh, we got raided by the nudes. Moist Noodle. Yo. How you doing? How you guys all doing? Good to see you. I'm glad to have some more noodles in the chat. Honestly, I've been had some noodles last night for dinner, but it was not enough. So thank you for coming in here. What were you guys up to today? Were you doing some Star Citizen by any chance? Pompano, thank you so much for the sub. Much appreciated on Twitch. Moist, my friend. If you haven't seen it already, folks, he better have gotten that shout out in chat. I'm gonna do another one just in case, just for good measure. But also, just released a new podcast episode this morning with Moist Noodle and Zero State, and it's a good one. It's a good one, my friends. I'm only showing you the audio podcast, but it is also on YouTube. But we talk about what is good and bad in Star Citizen right now. Zero State and Moist Noodle, and it's a pretty in-depth talk. We never really got to prisons, which is the thing I think that really rubs Moist the wrong way. But we talked about some of the other things that are actually fun to do in the game for newcomers, you know, things that you might be interested in doing if you're just now getting into the game, and things that maybe you should stay away from because they're kind of broken right now. So if you've been dealing with those questions, if you're very interested in learning more about what you should or should not be doing, definitely check this episode out. It's on YouTube as well. In fact, let's see if it pops up. Yeah, so nope, that's the stream. Right here. So you can also find this on my second channel, Space Tomato 2, along with the rest of the podcasts, which talk about different things like, I don't know, here's one from new players, so you get a good new player's perspective of the game, what it was like for his first couple weeks. Here's one where me and Salty Mike talk about how the development of this game might be taking away from the current experience we could be having. Talks about the big features of this game with the Eradicator. We got Astropub, Anna's in here, Hater from SC Leaks. We did one with Morphologist a little while ago. So if you are interested in those discussions, check that out on the second channel. I would say it's better to get it from the audio version, Spotify, Anchor, Apple, whatever, because those are ad-free, but whatever works best for you. But thanks again for the raid, Moist. How you been? Might have already dropped out. Yeah, I don't see. Probably dropped out. Yeah, you can do some group mining too. We have actually in our org in GII, we have a guide system. So any member in the org who feels like they have the confidence to help others can sign up as a guide. And then anybody who comes into the org and needs help can automatically ping those guides is allowed to ping those guides whenever they need help. And those people are willing and ready to jump in. So that's kind of the idea behind that. But that is also why I think people should join an org. Not necessarily to be active in the org or to be playing in the org, but you always have people to ask questions to. You always have somebody, if you want to, you can jump into the game and start to play with somebody else. Oh yeah, there is definitely video that goes with the podcast on the YouTube version, but it's just us talking. It's not like B-roll. Vazarus, you're looking for info beyond ships? Had there been any talks of 317.1? What will be in 317.1? Probably just bug fixes. Maybe they'll add something else, but it would be a surprise, I think. Yeah, my camera's broken. Sorry about that. Okay, back to the monthly report, though. The tech artist created tools to support the ongoing Derelict work alongside continuing development of the procedural locations tool. We also got to look at that. But here's some... Excuse me. Ongoing Derelict work could mean they're derelict ships or they're derelict outposts. So... I'll show you both, because I'm a homie like that. So one of the things they also showed us in terms of concept art earlier this year that I did not think we would see in game anytime soon were this concept art for ruins. Did anybody in chat think that they would be showing us ruins in this game right now? ignoring the fact that, yes, I know it's been 10 years, it's not early in development, whatever. This is just not something that's ever really come up in my thought process when it comes to Star Citizen. I'm always thinking of new buildings, new ships, new cities that have been built. We've been hanging out in these areas for a long time, like this has all been scrapped. I did not realize that, I didn't realize that it was going to be actual ruins in here. This has like Horizon Zero Dawn vibes to me for some reason. For some reason, it's ruins. So they showed us this concept art in January, and just like with the Reclaimer salvage thing, I was like, okay, but when are you actually going to bring that in game? And then they were like, ho ho ho, but hold on. Showed us some white box of these ruins actually being modeled, ready to get into the game engine, which is like, okay, that's pretty cool. Good job. But like, what are you guys thinking in terms of how long this will progress? And then they're like, haha, we've got even more. Now it's in the game engine. And they started showing us more shots of it. And then I think it was just a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. They now have it modeled in the game engine and players are running around. So this is where so just to put that into perspective, I'm finding the Reclaimer derelicts that we saw, but I can't find them. So this is where the Reclaimer derelict was like a month or two ago. So there's a good chance that we'll see this right when Pyro drops as well. It's going to be a lot of content. But I think that's part of what they're talking about here with the derelict work. And then some of the other stuff is, we've seen the Reclaimer derelict a little bit, and we've seen the MSR derelict from Sandy. Actually, we could probably look that up. So this is what she was showing pictures of on Twitter. Let's see if she actually, if this happens to get it. I don't think it does. Yeah, these are pictures that she posted on Twitter. I'm not going to go through the process of getting them, but we've seen different derelicts starting to be made much more quickly. You thought they were doing this like 2 years ago? Whew. That'd be nice. But it hasn't been 10 years in November this year. Then it will have been 10 years since CIG was a company. Yeah, I mean, it's a detailed thing. You submitted an app to join the org, joined the Discord, and did the Google Sheet form. Anything else you need to do to join? Nope. Just wait a little bit. Member relations will get to you. You actually did a good job of hitting all the steps. Yeah, Invictus Week's going to be cool. If nothing else, it's just cool to have a central location where all players are headed in Invictus Week, so you know you can go somewhere and see other players and interact with other players. That on its own is a good enough reason for events like Invictus Week, but it also is cool because they open a couple of new locations, usually in the city. You can actually get on board like these massive capital ships and see their interior, a limited interior. And usually we get some new information around that time. You're not hyped for Invictus Week. Why not? Grunge is in general something missing so far in SC. Yeah, they haven't touched too much on it. Nobody ever got back to me on the org. Nobody got back to you, Cyber? Did you do all the steps to sign up? If you're on the Discord, go ahead and leave a message in the help desk, and we'll follow up on that. Roboto, what's up? Can you play the game? You can. You definitely can. I'll pull up a quick video of me playing the game. If the smaller bombs are dumb bombs, it's not worth it. So this is us. We were playing the game yesterday. Yeah, you can play it. Think they'll open up the Javelin's bridge to see for the tour? That'd be cool. I don't know. Why are you spamming though? gonna time you out for a little bit. Don't spam, please. Clearly everything's staged. Continue to stun me that there are still people spreading the idea that SC is not out to the extent that it can't be played. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, no need to report it. It's all good, Axis. We've got mods that are taking care of this stuff. You'd prefer to see the hangar or engineering section? That would be cool. It'd be really nice to see the engineering section of that. Also, spam's not a big problem here. It's usually just the those bots that become a problem. To be honest, I'm not that excited about Invictus due to the decision of making it inside atmosphere. Performance is not really good right now and make the experience less enjoyable. I don't think they've ever had an Invictus outside of atmosphere. Was the Javelin? Oh yeah, because the Javelin's got a dock in there. Yeah, okay. I see. You mean the parade in atmosphere? Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how performance affects that. At least they've removed it from Orison, but you have a Javelin, can't wait to use it with the org. That'll be cool. The title of the music in the background was called Hidden Meadow by Stream Beats, Harris Heller. The capital ship's normally in orbit, I believe. Okay, where were we? Tech Animation, I believe. Tech Animation continued creating new face rigs from their internal created scan data. They also invested substantial time into the tools chain and process to ensure upcoming heads are quicker and cleaner to produce. Yay! Heads. Heads. Check it out. New heads. Yay! Actually, I think this might be no old heads. I don't actually know. Wet eyeballs. Jared with wet eyeballs. Yeah, they worked on the character created to make new better heads. Furthermore, they supported the feature and animation teams by improving the animation systems to accommodate their increased requirements. For example, enabling the system to support up to 50 layers of authored and inverse kinematics animations on a single character. Inverse kinematics are what they used usually to detect things around the player when they're moving, to make sure that the animations work correctly based on what they're moving towards or around. In the GII Discord, you don't see a help area. I'm supposed to do an interview, right? No interview to join. On the Discord, you should see a section here called, oh, I'm sorry, not help desk, called member relations. My bad. If you post right here, we'll be able to see what you need some helps with. All right. Man, people really don't like self-promotion, huh? All right, well, somebody doesn't want to hear any more about the exclusive videos, so for anybody who is looking for those or signs up as a sub or a channel member, if people in chat could go ahead and let them know that they have access to that stuff. Can we get long hair? That'd be nice. Yeah, they really need to update the hair stuff. What is the Discord? Somebody else will have to post it, please. You can type an ! Discord to get there if you're on Twitch. All right, Turbulent. Throughout April, Turbulent's online services team worked on the new login flow refactor. With the majority of the working code complete, the team is now integration testing all respective services together, including rental, entitlement, and login. Significant progress was also made on the new entity graph service. Entity graph is pretty important. I think that's what we use. Let's see. That's what they use to track all the objects across every server So it's actually a lot. It's a really big one. Something they've been working on since I think early last year now. Well, they've been working on iCache for a long time. I don't know when Entity Graph came along, but they started talking about it, I think early last year. And this is how they model it. So each shard is considered like an area where we would be playing. Or I'm sorry, that's not Entity Graph. This is. So every area would have sort of like base layers of content that would then spread out all of the other layers off of it, and each of these things would be little objects in the verse that need to be tracked every which way. But I don't think I have. There we go. This is how they show server meshing working. An entity graph is supposed to be the brain kind of everything that's getting transmitted to us, the clients, down here. By co-opting the simulation from the servers. There's a whole video on it. It gets real in depth. Okay. The Live Tools team released the latest version of Hex, featuring an all-new user interface. They're now focusing on developing and adding new features to improve the versatility of the network operations center. I'm sorry, I gotta say, for anybody who doesn't like the self-promotion, oh well, we got a raid first. Jfish, thank you so much for dropping in here. I appreciate you. Jfish was also, oh, I can't say that, that's self-promotion. Jfish has at one time also been has interacted with me. If you'd like to see him, though, go check him out. Throw out that shout out for you, my man. Thank you for the raid, Fish. I love some fishes in chat. Drop those fishes. Fishes and tomatoes. They go really well together. If they're cooked right. How's it going, though? What were you all up to? Playing some Star Citizen? Was I on Reddit? I've done a couple, things on Reddit. I post something here and there. Appreciate you, though. Thank you for the raid, Jfish. Streamer, how dare you self-promote on your own platform? Well, that's what I was gonna say. You know, I nobody knows about this stuff. I spend hours and hours and hours a week trying to make exclusive videos. So when I get the chance to promote it to people, so they can actually know I make it, I'm gonna take that chance. Otherwise, why make it if nobody knows it exists? You were going to do some cargo runs in the verse? Oh, you were doing some cargo runs. Did you make any good money? You're playing RimWorld. Oh, I was asking about Jfish. But if you're playing RimWorld, I've actually never played that before. Is that an RTS? Or a survival game? I was trying to figure that out too. This is your channel, you get to self-promote. Yeah. T-Ban, you new here? If you don't, how do new people know? Right, I mean, that's kind of what I'm going for. The problem is, so this is the same thing that Jared gets, I think, when he does Star Citizen Live, is he has to say the same thing every episode, because new people are always coming in. So, like, I don't want to be in every 20 minutes be like, hey, I make exclusive videos, go check them out. But the thing is, there's like 100 new people in the chat now that don't know that I do that stuff. So I kind of have to keep doing it. But it actually would be easier if I just had little animations on the screen that did it for me. Actually, that's what the Ko-fi thing is. But anyways, we were going through the monthly report for anybody who just came in with the raid. We're almost done with it, but we did a lot of looking through like the features and locations and stuff, and there's some good stuff coming to Star Citizen. I think these monthly reports are a lot of fun to read. Struggling to find the Discord. Yeah, so if you go to the stream, can I open it? Go to the stream and then go down into the description. Why? If you go into the video description underneath the screen, it will say Gaming Discord. Unless you're looking for the org. I'm not sure which one you're looking at. You're looking for GII? That's going to be org. And sorry, the things don't work on YouTube. The bot doesn't work. That's the link you should use. Hello to Italy, Anton. Colony management survival. Okay, it's kind of like Frostpunk in YouTube, and you don't see it. It should be. Hold on. It'll be right here. So any of the links that you want, the specs, people ask for specs a lot. They're in there. The regular Discord, the organization Discord, that kind of stuff is all down here below the stream. Got it with the link. All right, no problem. Yeah, Discord doesn't work on YouTube, unfortunately. That's why I put it in the description under the video. But I think YouTube's does not do a great job of showing people their stuff down there. Okay. Let's see, what else did the Live Tools team work on? They released the latest version of Hex. We already read that. I can show you what Hex looks like, though. So, whenever they use... Oh, no. Sorry, that's not going to do it. They have this system called Quantum, which is the economy. And... this system requires them to, it's going to require devs to be but editing the system throughout the lifespan of the game. And that requires an entire development of a different UI and a different program and everything. So what they call the program that does it is Hex, I believe. And Hex is kind of like the interface that we can see this sitting inside of, with the graphs and all that stuff. I'm trying to find something that shows it a little bit better. But I don't think I have anything. This is also Hex, I believe. You can see it supports tabs and all this stuff. Yeah, I think that's all I've got on it. No, it's not Quantum. It's Quanta, and I probably get on a lot of people's nerves talking about that. The system itself is called the Quantum Simulator. The NPCs inside of the system are called Quanta. I actually made a fun video. Oh, that's self-promotion. Shouldn't do that, right? If you look up Star Citizen Quantum Economy. So here he explains the whole thing.
The game universe, and its purpose is to allow things. The price of goods.
I think, and this is kind of a problem, I think a lot of people keep referring it to the Quanta and confusing people, and it just does not get fixed ever. I got downvoted for trying to
can be made more
fix
clear. First, a quick review. Quantum is a simulation of the game universe, and its purpose is to allow things, the price of goods at a given shop, the amount of piracy near a landing zone, or what missions are being offered, to evolve and change over time in logical and realistic ways. It does this by simulating hundreds of thousands of lightweight NPCs called Quanta, whose AI logic is focused on just those aspects needed to produce the required information. Based upon a small list of attributes...
So yeah, the Quanta is inside of the Quantum system. Jfish, I was actually saying earlier that they keep talking about quantum travel as just QT, and I was wondering if they were trying to get away from people continuing to confuse, because like if they keep calling quantum travel QT, then they only have to deal with the economy confusion, right? You got told off correcting people on Spectrum too. I don't understand it. Like, don't we want the correct term to be there so that it doesn't get confusing in the future? You're interested to know which preparatory technologies are they using for the entity graph database? I have no idea what they're using for the database itself. Naming it Quanta and then having Quantanium and quantum traveling. Yeah, it's a lot. They really love those Q words. They're like, there's not enough Q words in the English dictionary. Let's come on. Start rolling them out. Live in PTU, right? The PU versus the PTU. Yeah, they also, CIG did that one themselves, huh? But yeah, the hex tool seems like it's pretty important. They talk a lot about it actually in these turbulent updates. Like most of the turbulent updates seems to have something about it. Let's see. Also, they didn't add those words to the dictionary. I'm dumb. Just to the game. The web team spent the month getting ready for Invictus launch week. This involved refactoring the Alexandria tool with new skins, themes, and content. In April, the UI team provided release support for Alpha 3.17 by fixing critical issues with the new ASOP terminals and selling UI alongside general bug and crash fixing. A major performance improvement was also completed, allowing thousands of items to be listed on screens. Yay! Items on screens! As in the selling UI. Now just make sure they all load in time. Gotta run. Hope you have an amazing stream. Jfish, thanks for hanging out, man. Thanks for sticking around for a little bit. I hope you had a good stream too. We'll talk. I'll catch you later. Do I still use the Tobii eye tracker? I do, but I kind of left it in Turkey on accident. So, gonna have to come back to that one in a month. Work progressed on the new star map and radar UI. We got pictures of that stuff. The devs implemented basic controls, enabling them to look around a solar system and view the planets, orbits, and vehicles within it. They also began adding an info panel that players can use to see details about selected objects. I think it's really cool that they're planning on allowing us to see vehicles in the map. Here's some early concepts of what they were using for the star map. I don't think it'll look exactly like this, but I do think it'll look similar. I think we'll have real colors. I think we'll have information panels here. They actually talk about that in the monthly report here. Filters, routes, bookmarks, that search, all that kind of stuff I think will be on the star map. But, you know, not really. Nobody can say if it'll look just like this. It does look similar to some of their UIs, though. So like I was saying, in the next bit, they say they also began adding an info panel that players can use to see details about selected items. That's good. Because the star map right now sucks. It's so bad. God, I hate it. It's the worst part of the game right now. They just Googled astronomy words starting with Q. It's a hefty price and you were nervous you'd be one of those things. It'd be one of those things that people stop using after a month or two. Oh, the eye tracker? No, I still use mine. It is a hefty price, but it's super useful. If you play this game regularly, you probably will end up using it regularly. Will the Star Map app move from the Mobi to the MFT panels? I think we'll have a Star Map in ship, of course, and on tables. So like if you look at this picture, you can tell that it's on a ship table here. This isn't actually on an MFD, whereas this version is on an MFD. Actually, no, this is actually a ship radar. So this is what I think it'll be like. Right in the middle of the ship radar where you can already see it in your ship right now. And then I think we'll also then have a Mobiglass version that you can use like this. So, different types. Yeah, especially when you scroll into that map. Oh my gosh. Hey, no problem, Mike. Glad to inform. Do I think all ships will have the map, or will it be exploration only? All ships will have a map, yeah. You can see it right now if you're in your ship's cockpit. See if I have any pictures of the interior of a ship here. If you're in the ship's cockpit and you look down past your joystick, you can usually see the radar. It's It works fairly well right now. Like, it works to tell you information, but it's not that useful. But I think every ship will have it, and then obviously exploration ships will have the ability to upgrade. Even regular ships probably will have the ability to upgrade to better radar systems. I use the Tobii Eye Tracker 5. When can we expect it? I have no idea. I don't know that one. I would say... I think it's wishful thinking, but earliest end of this year. Because it sounds like they're actually making some progress. They've been talking about previs for a while. Last year they were talking about previs and getting concepts together and all that stuff. Now they're mentioning that they actually have controls working. You can actually see things going on in there. And we can also look at the star map. The tar map. Nope, that wouldn't be right. How about radar? ADAR, yes. Map and radar system reworks are scheduled to be finishing up work in July. Likely, they will get implemented into Squadron 42 workflows at that point, be tested in Squadron 42 for a solid 3 to 6 months, and most likely come to us in Q1 of 2023. But that's completely unfounded and unsupported speculation on my part, other than just like what they do with features. So I don't know. I wouldn't expect it any earlier than Q4 though, of this year. So it won't just be the Mobiglass rework. They're doing ships too. I don't know if they're doing... Actually, that's a good point online. I don't know if they're actually going to do that central ship one. Whenever they do it, that's what it'll be like. Oh, that might have been what the original question was asking. If it was just the Mobiglass getting the rework. I thought you were asking if the Mobiglass would get a star map. So I don't know if they're doing the ship radar. I don't know if they're doing the ship radar for this first update or if it's just Mobiglass or what, but they are replacing it. And they said, although rough around the edges, the groundwork is there for us to add functionality and start improving the visuals. So if they're working on improving visuals, I think that means that they're doing pretty well with this map system. The next thing is the visor and lens conversion, which involves converting the existing player HUD elements to building blocks. It's well underway. For anybody who's wondering, building blocks is their UI development tool. They've been working on it for years, building different types of iconography. They actually have... I think it would be an engine. I had a couple shots where you could see them actually working with the system itself. Here's some like random B-roll I have of them doing some work on it. That's Zane. He does a lot of the design work for UI. I don't think I have any of the actual in-engine stuff that they were doing, but you can kind of see that like they've had these concepts for things like MFDs. So the new MFDs, this is what they're meant to look like once the building blocks works. Here's a ship boot up system. This is on the canvas slice. Actually, I don't know if this is canvas slice. This is probably a previs, but this is meant to be where canvas slice technology eventually takes the HUDs so that we get better animations and stuff like this. And then another example of some interior... Whoops. That's me working. There we go. This is how I record stuff. Here's some interior map stuff that they were building, or at least pre-visualizing in order to give us interior maps. So this will probably also be built out in building blocks, however they want to do it. But it's all stuff that they're definitely interested in getting working in the near term. Think the HUD should only have useful info, nothing you don't need that takes up space. I believe they're making it customizable. So you'll be able to choose what's on the screen for you. But yeah, the basic version should probably just be like the most important things. I agree. Let's see. Where were we? The visor and lens conversion? No, we got distracted with building blocks. Many widgets, including weapon information and mission objectives, were ported to the new system. They also continued to update features in support of persistent streaming. So that's including things like your actor status, your weapon counts, or your ammo counts, your shields, your armor statistics, all that kind of stuff. Right now still runs on Flash. If you guys remember when they transferred, they just did the ASOP terminals. Anybody who's currently playing the game, the terminals that called your ships have changed in appearance in 3.17. That's because they moved it from the old system to the new buildings block system. That's what they're talking about here, doing with our whole HUD. Everything that shows up on the HUD, from notifications to the thing that tells you you're dead. And it makes things generally faster. When they updated the ship HUDs, which they did last year, some of you may remember, the ship HUDs got a lot better and faster. So usually it makes it more lightweight, makes it work better, and then gives them the ability to start building better elements and new features into that thing. So the building blocks conversion is a good starting point. Flash. Yeah, they've had Flash in this game, unsupported. Actually, now that I think of it, it was unsupported, so maybe they changed it over from Flash. But most of the UI transitions they've been doing in the past were from Flash, Adobe, the thing, Flash, to some new rendering software they use. I don't know, that gets a little bit out of my knowledge. They're working with Game Glass in an official capacity? I don't know. They did. I think I might have seen something about that, yeah. Are cities going to have ground maps, like a map you can open to find your way around? I think you'll probably have to use your radar. The way they've had it right now is that all of the cities, if you look around on the walls, they have maps that you can read while you're walking around. And they've really liked that sort of use the world around you kind of thing, rather than giving everything to us right there on the screen. So they might stick to that. I don't know. The new Game Glass is officially Star Citizen. That's pretty cool. You bought the Toby thinking it may not be worth the price. So wrong, it's so useful. It is very useful. I love that thing. I have a blast with it. If anybody's looking for a review on that, I have one on my channel. Yeah, that's right. I'm self-promoting. Deal with it. I got a YouTube, a review of the Toby eye tracker on my channel where I talk a lot about my feelings of it. I think it's great. I think it's super useful. But I don't think it's something you should get before like a HOTAS or some RAM or an SSD or something. All right, moving on from the visor and lens conversion, the UI tech team continued developing additional building blocks features, one of which will replace the canvas slicing technology. That was the what we were talking about before. The new cards system received major usability and performance improvements and is currently being tested in the vehicle HUD for the hull scraping feature. I don't actually know what the card system is. I think that is referring to like notifications, actually. In that video that I just showed you, you can see here before the animation starts, we do kind of have some previews for what they expect FPS stuff to look like. So here's emissions from the FPS version. You can see that emissions tracks IR signatures, electromagnetic signatures, and then instead of with ships, it tracks cross-section. With people, it'll track audio. On top of that, they also have the top-down radar on the side and what looks like a mission descriptor title. I'm guessing this might have to do with the card system that they're talking about. And probably also factors in notifications and stuff like this. I think if you just type in Toby on here, it should pull up the link. I don't know if it's... No. Yeah, you're gonna have to find that video on the website. Usually Anno is usually Anno is on top of the modding and drops links like that. Platty Belladone, one of the OGs. What's up? How you doing, dude? Flesh. Mark, I know that says Flash equals conventional programming, but it says Flesh. Which is, it gives me a chuckle. All right, let's move on. The team also worked on a new AR marker system and improved various widgets to help the UI designers work more efficiently. I'm hoping that the AR marker systems are a predecessor to us being able to save and store location information. You know, put down a marker on a map and be able to like send those coordinates to somebody for money. I hope that's where it's headed, but I don't know. Either way, AR markers are really good for helping people understand the game around them. So I'm sure that's going to be a big deal in terms of helping newcomers learn more about this game while they're playing. Been a minute trying to stop reading the news. Thanks for giving me an online lunch destination. Dude, the news hurts. God. News is painful. I feel it. Well, thanks for joining, man. We haven't talked in a little while. We gotta catch up and play a game or something. All right, in April, the VFX continued their work on the salvage effect, shifting focus to the vehicle hull stripping variant. We looked at that a little bit earlier, but I can pull that up again for anybody who is interested in or wasn't here when we were looking at it before. Okay, and I lost it. Here it is. So this is the vehicle hull stripping feature. This is not the entirety of salvage. But this is the implementation of salvage we'll be seeing probably in 3.18 in the next update. And one of the more intense professions to get a mechanic in the game finally. Like, mining is good, but I think this is essentially mining ships, right? So that's a much bigger deal that you can now interact with other people's ships and start draining them, basically. Yeah, Building Blocks is the system they created to host their own UI stuff. I'm assuming it's just a different material on the outside that can be saved for being stripped versus the other one. And that's where that item system 2.0 comes in play again. They did a good job with that. Can you show the weapon damage Can you show the weapon's damage on one of the ships? The damage map video? You know, I can never find that video when I need it, and I always see it. I saw it earlier today. Yeah, I don't even know where that's gonna be. Kind of annoying too. I need to name that video better so that I can find it more easily, but it's always... I always jump back and forth between features, vehicles, and engine because it could fit in each one of those folders. And unfortunately, it's saved on my NAS, so I can't search for it. But I do have a video. What he's talking about is these vehicles have special layers on them that can be damaged in certain ways and reveal the ship underneath. I swear I'm looking at it, I just can't see it. Where would that be? This is one of the few things that I don't think I'm going to be able to find. But yeah, they have a whole system set up where like different layers of the ship can get damaged by different things, and you'll be able to cut holes into ships, shoot their wings off, all kinds of crazy stuff that we've already seen happening in the game. That's going to be a much bigger deal now that repair and salvage are going to be there as well. Let me try this one last folder to see if it might be here. Even if it's not here, I'm pretty sure I still have shots of another ship getting damaged. What is this? No, that's not it. That is... that was him getting blown up by something he shot. That's happened to me. Definitely happened to me. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to find it, guys. The background music is all stream beats. So if you look up stream beats on Spotify, you'll find it. Deadhead, you're spot on. It is magic repair juice. Yeah, that video would be in physicalized damage, which you think I would save it as physicalized damage. I'm pretty sure I saved it as damage map. And I'm pretty sure I didn't save it in the correct folder. So, yeah. And even now that I'm looking in the D's for damage map, not seeing it. Instead, here's a Gladius in the gold phase, gold standard phase. So, you know, if that gave you what you were looking for, seriously, it's kind of annoying that I can never find this clip. Next time I see it, I'll rename it. All right, where were we on VFX? Oh, the hole stripping. This proved more challenging than the FPS variant, as depth perception is trickier to gauge from the ship cockpit and the player's position relative to the salvage nozzle. Because of this, we're currently experimenting with visual aids to give players a more user-friendly experience. This is in regards to the Vulture, which is the new salvage ship. And you can see that while it has the same sort of salvage setup on the front, once they show us the front, you can, okay, show us the front. There we go. So you can see that the cockpit's all the way back here, but the laser's going to be on the front of these prongs here. So what they're talking about is trying to figure out, because when you're doing the normal salvage gameplay and you're just like, where are we? So the gun's right in front of your eyes, there's no problem. But once you go into that ship setup, it's way further away. They've got to figure out how to make that easier. Elsewhere, the team continued to work on various vehicles, including the RSI Scorpius, Drake Vulture, and one of the unannounced vehicles mentioned by the ship team. Again, vehicles. This is probably the new Drake vehicle that we're seeing leaked, because they are definitely making sure not to call it a ship here. Cleanup was done in several particle libraries, which included converting some older libraries from CPU to GPU particles. Due to the large size of the particle database, this work is ongoing. Investigations began into VFX requirements for the various Derelict locations being worked on in Montreal too. Love that. Love Derelict work. The VFX tech art team completed the necessary Houdini update. This involved ensuring all existing tools worked correctly in Houdini 19. They also continued experimenting with better ways to fracture geometry to help create more realistic looking damage. Again, it's also the same thing. That is the same thing that it should be the same vehicle. I don't know why I can't find that there's actually a better one too, where they show like shooting the wings and the wings just kind of chip away. It's really cool. Looks like brittle like glass. This, I guess, kind of shows, it doesn't show the damage map per se. This does show their idea for how salvage and inventory works. If you blow the ship up, it won't just disappear or spawn into a single box. It'll actually blow all the cargo you had out into space for people to be able to collect. I don't know why I showed you guys that. That was just... I just saw it. But anyways, that's the monthly report. April. Not as exciting as March, to be honest. March's monthly report was incredible. There's a lot of good stuff there, but there were some pretty cool aspects about AI here. It was cool to see the Reclaimer is going to start to be able to salvage. Good stuff about Gen 12. Great news about locations. The mission giver thing was a pretty good statement. I'm glad we're hearing about mission givers. That could mean that we're seeing more narrative-based missions in the future. And we got to hear that there are new locations coming to Stanton. That wasn't expected. So that's all really nice. But yeah, that's the monthly report. We do one of these every month, second Monday of the month. And same time, same place. However, you don't have to come to these. You don't have to come and sit here for 3 hours and listen to me just rattle on about this video game that still isn't finished. I'll be putting out a video about this at the end of the week as well. And we have a whole playlist of monthly reports where you can see every monthly development update going back to... I think I started doing them maybe like a year and a half ago. Was it that long? I don't know. But there are plenty of monthly updates to go check out. They do this every month. Star Citizen does a great job of communicating most of what's going on. I would say they could do a lot better in some areas, but as they are right now, they do better than a lot of other games that I follow, and I appreciate these. There's a lot of great info in these, and I think it's the best way to know what's coming up in new updates and to know what's going on with this game. I think a lot of people miss the monthly reports, so I wanted to start doing these streams to kind of summarize them, and you know, they're boring to read, they're better to listen to. If you like these though, and you are on YouTube, please make sure to give this a like or leave a comment or say something to say that you like them. But I honestly, from the view count, it seems that y'all on YouTube do really enjoy these. I'm glad, because these are fun. These are my favorite streams, the ones we just chill on Mondays and talk. There's a link for the physicalized damage if anybody wants to check that out. They did share that. It's pretty old. I think it's from like 2014 or 2015. But it is there. It is available.